Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine? What is it? Monday, August 17th. Well, I was in here earlier, and I'd like had the stream still going and all that. And guess what? I got kicked off of it or something. I don't really know what happened exactly, but here I am. I'm back. So let's talk about this trial. Here we go. We're here for the afternoon. It was previously Ooh, fixing my mic. It was previously the morning of day one. We heard the opening statements. Do I have the volume on here? Yeah. I'm scared it's going to be loud. Let me turn it there. We had the opening statements. We had the first two witnesses. The first guy was a like a bicycle cop that night of the shooting the first time. Um he actually pulled over the car that Tupac and Suge Knight were in because they did not have a license plate or something. But he didn't give him a ticket or anything, so he just gave him a warning and we're like, put the license plate back on because they were like, we're doing a music video. So he recalled, this must be, I don't know if they're supposed to be showing us all of that. Unless, I don't know who these folks are. Anyway, so sorry, I got so distracted by the people walking in. I don't want to miss anything here. Okay. So there was this guy, he like actually pulled over Tupac and Suge Knight like 10 minutes before the Pew Pew incident. And he testified about a gold chain. The gold chain maybe didn't turn up in evidence. Then they talked about a Pew Pew getting sent over. Something they said from opening statements. There was a Pew Pew that got sent over from LAPD to the Las Vegas police. And the Pew Pew was like bait. The Las Vegas police just wanted to, the Los Angeles police, the LAPD just wanted to see if, that's the prosecutor right there. The police were testing the other police just to see if they were gonna, I don't know for what, but anyway, it ended up not being the correct Pew Pew. I guess this is the gallery. I don't know if they're supposed to be zooming in on the people in the gallery. Maybe they can. Maybe this is like the journalists and stuff. I don't know. I mean, the first row is probably someone's family members. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, Sode Freak, for the 200 jewels. I do have the volume on. What are we zooming in on here? That is Keefe D's pro bono defense lawyer. Took the case on for free. For free. All right, so they were supposed to reconvene back in here at 1:15, so 4:15 Eastern, and that is 2 minutes ago. Yeah, this must be journalists. See, look, it says media. Usually you're not allowed to wear sunglasses in court unless you're like a victim or a family member, so that's why I'm assuming that's family. Plus, it's on the first row. Usually that is reserved for family. If someone knows who these individuals are, if they're famous or something, if they're someone's family members, recognizable, let me know. Yes, hell well, you made it on time. My goodness, look at the central casting coming out of here like LARPing as cops, girl, please. The one, especially the one with those huge glasses, not this row, I was talking about those cops. Looks like some movement. Movement is ongoing. Tupac's family is there. I'm assuming so. Mo Preem said they were going to be there, right? Ow. Is that him? Mo Preem Shakur? Okay, there's Keefe D on the main screen. Tupac's sister. Okay, thank you. Dude, that is Tupac's sister. Wow. Prayers to her. Oh, and the whole family. Oh my gosh, that's so upsetting. Sad. Front row, man. So who's the man next to her? Is he family member too, or is he with her? His hair is really pretty too. They all have pretty, very pretty hair. Well, I mean, I guess the other guy doesn't have any hair. These two have pretty hair. Oh man, this is sad. That's really devastating. Okay, here is Keefe D's lawyer. He is swaying to and fro. Yeah, very beautiful. Okay, y'all gonna give me some volume here or what? Good. I wonder if they get their genes from American Eagle. Ooh, too soon. That was the craziest thing, y'all. The way she doubled down. Sikiwa? I'm assuming the judge is coming in because Keefe D is standing. Wait, isn't the sister? Maybe he has two sisters? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the Shakur family tree personally. But if someone wants to let us know down there in the chat. No, wrong way. Okay, they're standing up. I guess that means the judge is coming in. Maybe not. Maybe he just wants to stretch his legs. I do notice he has been allowed to wear a suit, which I do think is good, especially because a jury is going to see him. So part of a fair trial is innocent till proven guilty, you know? And generally, once somebody is in like prison clothes, people unfortunately have a bias, even if they're technically still innocent. Girl, turn your mic on. She's chit-chatting. Wish I knew what she was saying. He has other half-siblings. Thank you very much for the information. Girl, turn your mic on. Keefe D straightening out his tie. Brittany said, I was just thinking the same thing about the suit. We haven't seen him that often lately in, it seems. We haven't seen that often lately. Yeah. Well, before the jury is in there, a lot of times the judges are just like, I'm not going to be biased. I know he's innocent. So they won't necessarily give the permission. Because like judge has to give an order to let them have like certain clothes and stuff.
Okay. Okay, I'm talking normally now.
Oh.
And now I'm trying to mute.
It's two things playing.
And now I'm trying to mute.
Any difference?
Oh no. I thought there was an echo.
I thought I did.
Yeah, that's not good. This lawyer, poor thing, he was just now like conferring with Keefe D and the mic is like blasting it. I'm like, is that an echo? Turn it off.
I'm on mute. I'm pressing the mute button.
Poor thing. I'm not even going to go back. Oh no. They need to turn that mic off. They need to turn that mic off anyway. Want to know why? Because Keefe D is hacking up a lung half the time. And he's coughing and he burped really loud during Ingrid's testimony. Oh my God, that was too much. Mute him, mute them. We do not need the HD sounds.
Okay. I'm sure the meeting is working.
Keefe D ASMR.
All activities are fine.
See, they're whispering. You can hear them. Turn these off. Someone, do something. These mics are too good.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Okay, we're on record in State versus Davis, C-337-407. We've gotten through some of our technical issues. Anything else we need to address before bringing in the jury? Okay, let's bring them in.
Yeah, for jury.
Wow. All right. This work is now in session. See what I mean? The burp was too much.
To the parties stipulate to move on to the jury.
We do.
Okay, you may all be seated. At this time, the state may call their next witness. All right, Mr. Becker, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have my clerk swear you.
He's echoing.
Please raise your right
Yes,
hand.
ma'am.
He's
You
echoing.
do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
May I please have you state and spell your first and last name for the record?
Brent Becker, Brentbecker.
He's loud.
Thank you.
Sir, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, you're retired these days, is that correct?
Oh, he got to turn his
Yes,
echo
sir.
off.
And what'd you do for a living before you retired?
I was a police officer for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
And what years were you with?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to see if I can do something about this within the software. I might be able to turn on the AI echo canceller. Oh, that's too much. Hold on. Let's see if this works. If so, I should get the Nobel Prize.
Years were you with Metro?
I was there from 1984 to 2011.
And in September of 1996, what was your assignment?
It didn't work.
I was a detective with the homicide section.
Do you recall how long you'd been with homicide when you, in 1996?
This is hell.
I got into homicide, I think it was November of 1994.
Did you have a partner in 96?
Yes, it was Mike Franks,
And who was your sergeant?
Kevin Manning.
Oh, he's gonna, hold on a second, all right, he's gonna work on the echo.
Oh, thank God. Oh, that was horrifying. They
Can you
overstimulated.
still hear me?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
what a relief. That was physically
On
painful.
September 7th, or into, I guess, technically into September 8th of 1996, did you get called out for a shooting that happened, ultimately determined to be happened at Flamingo and Cobalt?
Oh, Lord.
Yes, Sergeant Manning called me. It was about 12:30 in the morning and I was asleep, so it would have been September 8th. And so it was around 12:30. So by the time I got up, got dressed, and got there, it was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning on the 8th.
And when you say you got there, what scene did you go to?
Initially, from what I recall, I went to Harmon in the Boulevard because that's where general assignment and everybody was at to get debriefed on things and get some of the notes. And then from what I recall, I went over to Flamingo and Cobalt to kind of look at the scene, but they had some witnesses from the car that supposedly was directly behind Suge Knight and TUPAC Shakur. back at Harmon and the Boulevard that I needed to interview.
Can we talk a little bit, first of all, Tupac Shakur is still alive on September 8th of 1996, correct?
That's what I was told. He had already been transported. He was not at the scene when I got there.
Is it somewhat unusual for homicide to be involved in a situation where there isn't a deceased victim yet?
That was very unusual, and normally we
That
don't
is
get
weird.
called out. At least at that time, we didn't get called out unless there was a deceased victim. So it was unusual. I think when we arrived at the scene, we were told that because of the nature of who the victim was, General Assignment wanted us to come out to it.
Let me ask you, we've heard from a first responder today. Back in those days, what was general assignment? What does that mean?
General Assignment was in essence, the night detectives. They worked swing shift and graveyard shift. So they were the night detectives that if something needed a detective to respond, they were the ones that got called out to the scene.
So they would have been at this scene before you, and then they made a determination along with, I assume, the command staff that homicide should be called out to this investigation.
Correct. Actually, uniformed officers would have been the first people called to the scene of anything. And General Assignment, I'm sure, was monitoring the traffic. So if they had heard the call, they may have been responding, but they would have gone out, assessed the scene, and eventually determined if someone, the type of scene it was and if someone needed to come out to it. And in this case, I guess someone must have called Sergeant Manning because he's the one that called us.
And your partner, Detective Franks, do you recall where he responded to?
I believe he got sent directly to a University Medical Center, the hospital, which is where Shakur and I believe Suge Knight got sent to.
And your responsibility, was there also crime scene analysts that were called up to the scene?
Yeah, my initial response was to the scene to start handling things directly at the crime scene, yes.
And then does at some point crime scene analyst Dan Ford show up and document the scene while you're present?
Dan Ford was already there from what I recall. They were called CSAs back then, I believe. Dan Ford would have already been there. Usually CSAs, because CSAs were assigned to each shift. So I'm pretty sure he was that particular shift CSA. He would have already been out there doing whatever he did for the scene, marking it, taking photographs and such.
When you, at the end of sort of both the two scene investigations, so the Harmon and Las Vegas Boulevard, as well as the Flamingo and Koval investigation, essentially, what was the facts you were dealing with?
Well, according to the witnesses that I had interviewed, Frank Alexander, Malcolm Greenidge, Katari Cox, and Yafu Fula, and I'm just doing what I remember the pronunciation was. They were in the car behind Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur. And what they described was that a white car, and from what I recall, they described a white Cadillac pulling up alongside Knight's car, and someone inside that white Cadillac opening fire or shooting into the car that Knight and Shakur were at. Their descriptions varied a little bit, but from what I recall, I believe they all said it was a white car and more or less agreed that it was a Cadillac. and there might have been a little bit of a variance between 2 and 4 occupants.
And what direction after the shooting does the vehicle head?
After the shooting, it would have turned south on Koval. That was at Flamingo and Koval, because the night group was heading eastbound on Flamingo, and the Cadillac would have originally been heading eastbound, but then it turned southbound on Koval.
And the nature of the bullet holes that are in the BMW.
Okay, I feel like somewhat robbed because after all the stress, anxiety, and trauma we had to endure and I don't know, suffer through, this guy is not saying anything different than anybody else said, and he's boring and loud.
Located at Harmon and Las Vegas Boulevard, all those bullets appear to be coming in from the passenger side of the BMW.
The impact strikes that I saw were all on the right rear passenger door, the right front door, or the right front passenger door. I believe there was some sort of a mark or impact on the windshield. Those were the strikes that you could see. Like, you know, it was you couldn't tell if anything had been a stray of any kind.
So at your scene, you have bullets being shot from south to north into the passenger side of Shogun TUPAC's car, but you have no idea how many actual bullets are fired because you can only see the strikes which are in the car.
Correct. All I can see is what the actual impacts are. That doesn't mean that's how many shots were fired. That's just how many struck the vehicle.
And I think we have another witness who's going to testify to this later, but there are a number of casings or cartridge cases, expended cartridge cases that ultimately get collected from the southbound lanes of Flamingo right before Koval. Is that correct?
Yes, without seeing the report, I know that there were fired cartridge cases recovered from the street. I do recall that the number of fired cartridge cases recovered from the street did not match the number of impact strikes on the vehicle, which wouldn't have been surprising considering what traffic probably was on Flamingo on a Saturday night and probably the delay of anybody arriving there, at least from law enforcement.
What happens when, in your experience as a detective, there's a bunch of cartridge cases laying in a busy street and cars driving through? What can happen to those cartridge cases?
Well, especially prior to.
Did this man just say, in your experience as a detective, what can happen to the cartridge cases if they're lying in the street and a car comes by? How many? Okay. All right.
The uniform officers getting there, cars are driving over them. They're either getting caught within the tread of the tires, or they're getting thrown down the street or thrown into a rain gutter, or, I mean, they could go a lot of different places. We've investigated numerous shootings within streets where you've had fired cartridge cases scattered all over the place. And you never know for sure if you've got all of them, because
look at KPD's face.
In a tread of a tire and it doesn't get ejected, unless someone tells you about it later or it gets ejected somewhere else, who knows where it ends up.
In addition to that, when you have your shooter inside a vehicle, are there times that you found casings have gone into the vehicle that the shooter's shooting from?
Yeah, that would depend on if the shots were fired with the handgun inside the window.
Look how low my volume is, and he's still that loud.
If the handgun was outside of the window. Obviously, if the handgun is outside of the window,
Look how low I had to turn it.
probability, if it's a semi-automatic pistol, there's a higher probability that all those fired cartridge cases ended up outside. If the handgun is on the inside of the vehicle, you have a higher probability of some fired cartridge cases ending up staying inside the car. If it's a revolver, then everything is going to stay within the handgun.
Eventually, I'm kind of jumping forward here. Do you have those casings forensically tested?
The firearms examiner ends up testing them. I believe they were able to determine that they thought a Glock, it was going to be a 40 caliber. They were able to determine the caliber.
Can we get Reggie Wright Jr. on the stand?
The white Cadillac suspect information.
I'm fast forwarding.
There was a question of whether it was out the driver's door window or out the back window. There was a lot.
Look
of
at his
questions.
cowboy
And
painting.
this was
What the hell is
strictly
this?
Coming from
Like a Freemason dinner?
gentlemen, Alexander, Greenidge, Cox, and Fula, from the car that was behind them. You got to realize,
No, I don't.
as I learned later, there was an entire convoy or entourage, whatever you want to call it, that had been behind them. And none of those people were around. Everybody had skedaddled before we got there, or at least by the time I got there. And so the only information we had was what General Assignment had acquired from, I believe, a couple of witnesses that they had talked to and some of the people at the scene. I think Detective Franks talked to some girls later on that had been at the scene.
Now, during the course of this, you've mentioned Frank Alexander. Do you know what Frank Alexander's responsibility was that night in the car behind Suge and Tupac?
Frank Alexander said he was Tupac Shakur's bodyguard.
And Ifula Fula? I'm not even saying him right either.
Fula and Greenidge and Qatari Cox were supposed to be part of the Outlaws. I guess it's like the group, I don't know if you call them the band, but the part of the group that performed with Tupac Shakur.
And those are the only four that stuck around by the time you got there and you were able to take statements from.
I believe they were the only four. Plus, I know there were a couple other guys that are mentioned in the report. I think Kevin Woods was one of them. And I think they must have got stopped by General Assignment or somebody when Suge Knight had made the U-turn to flee or drive away and ended up at Harmon and the Boulevard. Everybody else was gone.
Want to fast forward a little bit. Did you learn of an incident that occurred at the MGM Casino shortly after the Tyson-Seldon fight?
We eventually learned that. No one claimed that night, but yes, there was a videotape that came about and information about a fight that was caught on videotape where a person was kicked, beaten down by Suge Knight and a bunch of other people in that group. Tupac Shakur was in the group, and Frank Alexander was off in the side.
When you learned about that, did Metro initially know the identity of the victim of that beating?
The only thing we had, I believe, was the first name of Orlando.
That's Keefe D's
One of the
nephew,
officers that was at the fight that night.
Orlando
I
Baby
think they were
Lane
working off
Anderson.
because we also saw some video where they had talked to the person. He was wearing a football jersey, and I don't believe there was a written down ID where the ID was obtained, but the first name of Orlando was on there. That was all we had at that time.
Did you make efforts to talk to Suge Knight?
I know that night at the hospital, Detective Franks attempted to, he said. And then I know that for 2 to 3 days after that, we attempted to, and finally were able to get him in.
So yes is the
Conduct an
answer.
interview with him.
How did that come about? How does Suge Knight wind up at Metro?
Well, the first couple of attempts weren't very successful. Put it this way: he didn't want to come. He didn't come in. In fact, I think the one time he was supposed to come in, he didn't show up, and then the night he did, I think it was 3 nights after. It would be in the report. When he did arrive, he showed up with David Kenner, David Chesnoff, and George Kalisis, who were all 3 attorneys
Makes sense.
who were his representatives, which we thought was weird because Suge Knight was a victim. I think
Well,
Randy Wright Jr. might have been out in the lobby waiting. And then that's when we were finally able to conduct a taped interview of Suge Knight with his 3 attorneys present.
good.
And what were your impressions from that interview?
Suge Knight was not the Suge Knight I expected. Everything, we had done a lot of research in the short time we had been involved, and Suge Knight was not a very timid person in the previous interviews we had seen of him. He was a very boisterous, in charge kind of guy. He was very timid, and to us,
Timid.
his interview was very practiced, and he was very timid, and I thought he lied to us. He just didn't know anything.
Mm.
Your impression was he was withholding information about what happened.
He just basically said he didn't know anything. He couldn't recognize anybody.
KVD, stop.
A few days,
Get him a cough drop.
or maybe a week even, does there come a point in time when you get contacted by law enforcement in Los Angeles area, whether it be LAPD, LASO, or Compton PD, that assists you in your investigation?
TUPAC Shakur passed away on September 13th. We attended the autopsy, and we were later contacted. Well, I think there was probably some contact with other people within the homicide section. You got to realize there are people higher up than us, but eventually Tim Brennan from Compton PD, I think a Mike Coet, and I don't, Fontenot, something like that from Los Angeles County Sheriffs came down to exchange information, and that's when we showed them the videotape from the MGM.
And once you showed them the videotape from the MGM, were they able to identify for you, first of all, who Orlando was?
They immediately recognized Orlando Anderson. They told us that's Orlando Anderson.
Okay.
And do they also identify some of the people that are with Suge that you didn't know might have been with Suge?
They recognized Suge Knight. I think they did by monikers, if I remember right. There might have been names. I think Buntry was in the picture, a guy named Buntry. There may have been some others that would have, again, it would be on the report because we did document all this.
Does Trayvon Lane sound familiar to you?
Yes, Trevon Lane does sound familiar.
What about Neckbone?
What about neck
They
bone?
ended up identifying a bunch of people because we ended up getting a substantial amount of information from them.
Does there come a point in time when they let you know that basically there's something happening in Compton that might be really indicative of who may have killed Tupac?
Well, we learned that they had had a series of shootings occurring in Compton, and were getting a lot of information from informants that was interesting to us. The problem was it was all from informants. We didn't have any actual people that would come forward and testify. So it was information we could use, but we didn't have any witnesses that would.
That's a big part of this.
It was all hearsay for us.
That's a big part of this. Like Morgan said, late to the live, I could be wrong. It sounds like they had some pretty good leads early on. Why have they waited so long? Exactly. One of the reasons is that. Another reason I think is like a lot of these police departments that could have been investigating this just weren't. Like it was corruption. So there's that. I also think some of the people who were involved in this have been being protected. But a big part of this is people don't want to testify. People still don't want to testify. Like the lady earlier, Ingrid, she was saying like the other people that were in the car with her that night do not want to testify. And that is because they are still afraid. So there's many reasons, but I do think there always is the angle of like, they were probably the feds or whatever were protecting somebody. And now Keefe D his number got pulled. Maybe he was just doing way too much bragging or something. Who knows?
And before I get too far into,
And also remember, I mean, the search warrant is from 2023. It's the end of 2026 right now. But back in 2023, this was like a hot button issue. Like Diddy was having the finger pointed at him for TUPAC. Like people were asking like TUPAC, TUPAC, TUPAC. And it was like right at that time. I mean, this doesn't really seem like, I mean, Keefe D, they're saying it didn't even pull the trigger. So, you know, I mean, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you on that. But some of it is, I think if you're looking at it fairly, I think if we're looking at it fairly, there, to some extent, like you need people to come up and be witnesses. Otherwise, it all is just hearsay.
the time you go to Compton the first time, were you able to identify that Suge Knight, Tupac Shakur, and their entourage was staying at the Luxor?
Well, yeah, we knew that after the beatdown at the MGM, they had all gone because the MGM security.
That's that chapter of the story. The beat down at the MGM at the let out.
Videotaped or filmed the group going through the casino and exiting, and we got information that they went over to the Luxor where they had rooms, because we observed or saw some videotape down in the valet area after they had changed clothes and were meeting down there for some vehicles where they had left to go to Suge Knight's house there in Las Vegas.
Judge, I have in my hand a certified record from Luxor of the reservations. It was 124. I'd offer it.
Objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
So you mentioned something that I guess I should get to. Suge and Tupac's group leave the MGM, go to the Luxor, and then did you have law enforcement outside, not for this purpose, but did you have law enforcement working security near Suge Knight's house here in Las Vegas?
We did not. Homicide did not. Apparently, there was an off-duty assignment at Suge Knight's community. I guess it's a gated community is where his house was at. And they were working off-duty because of whatever the event was.
And so, did you learn that after the Luxor, they went over to Suge's house?
Yes, we learned that they went over there. There was, I think, a gate log or something, and we learned that several people had gone over there, gone inside, and we eventually acquired that gate log. And then sometime after they had arrived at the house there, they departed, and
That's when the incident occurs.
that's not long after that is when the incident.
Why is he grinning like that? Look at Keefe D.
Back to Compton. At some point, do you get told search warrants on all of the Mob Piru and Southside Crypt.
The Bloods and the Crips.
Residences that they could identify as part of their investigation into the ongoing war now that's happening between Mob Piru and the Southside Crips.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of twofold. We were told that they were serving search warrants on all these locations for these different groups or gangs,
Mm-hmm.
but that there was also at least one murder warrant for Orlando Anderson that they
Right.
had there in Compton. So it was our understanding that they were going to be arresting him on an outstanding murder warrant.
So Mr. Fantastic said this. He said, I think they just never had a good case. Everyone involved either died or kept their mouths shut, and most of the players were in LA, but the case was in Vegas. And so, yeah, I mean, that's what this guy's kind of saying too. Like, there was a murder warrant in Compton at some point, and it was for Orlando Baby Lane, Keefe D's nephew, Anderson.
There in Compton.
Were you present in Compton when those warrants were?
Look at his face.
Mike Franks and I did travel down.
Is he surprised? Did he not
were
think?
present to witness the search warrants being served by Compton, and I believe I don't know if the Los Angeles County Sheriffs participated, the actual deputies. I know that their jail facility people were there.
Okay.
And you talked about this before. That warrant, had you seen a copy of the affidavit for that warrant?
Yeah, I saw one way back in '96.
So this is 30-year
I've seen one here recently that you showed me.
old one.
Kind of refreshing in here, Murray.
And within that, all of the witnesses are identified as CRIs. Do you know what what they were called?
Confidential
CRIs?
informant.
What I was told is that it was called a confidential, reliable informant.
Reliable.
I don't recall any person being named as a testifying witness to anything. It was all based on confidential, reliable informants that the search warrant was being based on, which I guess in some cases that's not unusual. I know narcotics cases do that quite often, but eventually if you're going to successfully prosecute a case, you need to have somebody willing to testify.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
On October 2nd of 1996, were you present on Burris Ave when Orlando Anderson's residence was, when the police hit it and searched that residence?
Look at him. Look at Keefe D.
I can't tell you if it was Burris Avenue. I remember being somewhere where Orlando Anderson.
Oh, he wants to say something so bad. Look at him.
And during that, did you find out information as to where Orlando Anderson was staying when he was in Las Vegas?
Well, yeah, we kind of had an idea before that, but then when he was arrested, we kind of confirmed it that he had been staying at the Excalibur Hotel. We knew he'd been in Vegas because we had him on videotape. But yes.
Judge, I have in my hand state's proposed exhibit number 125, which is a certified copy of, or it's a certified record of the Excalibur Alfred.
Okay, so Orlando,
Yes.
the nephew, the trigger puller supposedly, he was staying at the Excalibur Hotel. Now, they doing some type of a sidebar. We do have Keefe D here trying to start a small fire right here, rubbing his hands together. Even though the mic is on mute, I can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah. He's looking around, and the lawyers, they just want to do a sidebar.
That will be admitted.
Okay, now I'm going to try my best here to share my screen with you
Let's see it.
and see if we can. I want to show you just one little portion of this particular record. Guess I should have it up. All right. Are you seeing my screen at all?
No,
I see you.
I just
I
see
don't see the
KVD
document.
times 2.
Wait a minute, it just flipped.
You see that document now?
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
I do see it.
let me zoom
Document.
in.
It's a affidavit of custodian of records.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll down here to page 2,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a receipt from Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna zoom in here. Maybe.
Please do. Thank you.
That's the search button.
I see some writing down there. Yeah.
That's
Okay,
correct.
it zoomed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get to that writing now that I've zoomed in.
Okay.
KVD is all of us right now.
Two here. There's some
see.
handwriting on there.
Where? I don't see it.
Stardust and Monte Carlo.
You recognize that handwriting?
No, I don't see no handwriting.
That's
Oh,
my handwriting.
right there. Stardust.
So, how does that handwriting wind up on this record? What do you do?
Well, without seeing a report, I wrote it on there. There's no doubt that I wrote it on there. The question is why I wrote it on there. It's dated September 8th. Says they're local calls, and I put Stardust for one phone number, and then the Monte Carlo for the other phone number.
Does that suggest to you were looking to see who Orlando Anderson, what other hotels he was calling?
I'm wanting to see what the phone calls are, and the Stardust call is at 9:41. It should be 9 if it's correct. 0941 is 9:41 a.m. and then Monte Carlo is at 0946, and then right after that is the Stardust again at 0947. Again,
Y'all, this was the 90s. This is the 90s. We are looking at a receipt from a hotel, and there's extra charges on there, and it's not a $9 bottle of water. It's a 50-cent long distance phone call and another one 4 minutes later. Okay. The good old days.
And I guess we'll get to that when we get a little bit farther, but why don't we address some of that now? Was there a problem at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department of information
Yes.
or investigation being leaked publicly?
Yes.
well, I became aware that there may have been some information being leaked. I couldn't
Okay.
say who specifically was doing it, but I was becoming concerned to the point that in our office we had shelves not behind my desk, but there were some shelves where a lot of the case files are stored. And once this case continued, and the nature of who the victim was, especially when he passed away, there seemed to be a lot of interest in it, outside interest, especially with the media. And I became concerned about it, so I started locking my case files in my desk because I didn't want them to be available. Because I had left things on my desk, and a couple times I had found things different than when I left them, and it just bothered me. So that's why I locked them up.
They were rifling through.
Time when you started saving your reports to a different type of medium than just the computer.
Ooh, flash drive,
Well,
floppy disk.
yes, there were some reports that I ended up not sending off to records because I was putting them on what we had then was called a floppy disk. I guess today they've got a lot different.
We're in the 90s, y'all.
Back then we had a thing called a floppy disk.
I used to love a floppy disk,
Because
me.
we actually did some reports early on that I still don't know where they are. We did a pen register early on that I guess nobody can find.
Nobody can find it. Thank you, Danielle Marie, for the $9.99. Your reactions are way more entertaining than this trial. Thanks for making it less boring. Y'all, I mean, this is supposed to be a hard-hitting trial, but this man is really dragging the air out of it. Give me some Reggie Wright Jr.
We did, we went looking for a vehicle on another guy that nobody can find. There's just a lot of things that disappeared. And some of them are reports that were before I even put them on floppy disk. So, yes.
Floppy
I had some
disk
concerns.
party.
Were you aware that some Metro employees sold a Polaroid of Tupac on the autopsy table to the Daily Mail?
No. Autopsy.
I was after we did the autopsy.
She's
I was
smiling back
outside
there.
the autopsy room.
What's she grinning at?
I cannot say that I saw a person take the Polaroid photo of Tupac Shakur's body. I saw somebody walk into the autopsy room where his body was at with a Polaroid.
Who?
And
Who?
I don't remember how long.
Y'all, between Keefe D and Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs, who wanted to talk worse at their trial on day one? Who do you think?
That a book was published by a Kathy Scott that had it was a Polaroid photo of his body.
That's
It wasn't
sad.
one of our photos of his body from the autopsy. It was quite obvious it was a Polaroid photo afterwards because it was not a full photograph that we took. We didn't take those kind of photographs at an autopsy. We had no reason to.
But needless to say, you yourself had concerns about the security of the information as it relates to the investigation.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Now going back to exhibit number 125.
There was corruption as far as the eye could see.
At 9:46 a.m., it appears the Monte Carlo was called, correct? And Judge, I have marked state's proposed exhibit number 126, which is a certified copy of a record from the Monte Carlo eye offer.
Any objection?
If I can have a moment, please.
Yeah.
They unmuted it or what? What's happened to the audio? Oh, there we go.
There'll be a minute.
She said there'll be a minute.
All right, detective, I'm going to try and do this. Change the screen for you and now put 126 up on the screen. Apparently screen sharing has stopped. Put it up first and then... Now I'm going to go back to you and hit share. Can you see that now?
Now I do. There's a little delay, but it's a affidavit of custodian of records again.
Now this is the Monte Carlo, and I'm going to jump down to the first page. There's a name, Corey Edwards, at
Corey Edwards.
1301 East Sloan.
Okay.
And it looks like he arrived and departed the Friday night before, the Friday the 6th into Saturday the 7th of September.
Y'all vote in the poll.
See that on the right side?
Vote in the
I
poll.
see that.
And I'm going to roll down here,
Vote in the poll.
a few pages in. See, I could zoom in a little bit here for you.
No, I can see the writing. If Excalibur, well, go back.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
Yeah, it zoomed too much.
There you go.
Okay, Excalibur, Sahara, and Luxor. That's my handwriting.
Right here.
And so does that suggest to you that you took this record and checked to see
Where are those phone numbers?
the local
Yes.
phone numbers that are being called on in? I'm gonna roll down.
Yes.
Monte Carlo charges
Excalibur was
way more.
September 7th at 10:01
Okay, I'm
a.m.
fast forwarding. I'm bored.
I want to say Yafu Fula's description.
Look at his face.
When I took his statement, he gave a description that I recall. He described the driver of the Cadillac having a bitch face. That's the term he used.
A bitch
I may
face.
have misunderstood the terminology at the time. I might have thought bitch face meaning a younger looking face at the time, because there were some names coming up, and we had developed the name of Davion Brooks,
Okay.
who apparently was a Southside Compton Crip, and he was a fair-skinned black male, and I don't know, we thought he kind of was a bitch face. And he was the person that the pen register was related to in a place. It was south. I can't tell you the address right off the bat. It was south of Tropicana, between the Boulevard and Koval. Because all we had, I think, was a cell phone or something, and we did the pen register, but David Keith's name came up somehow in that as a worker in Las Vegas.
You kind of look like a bitch face to him.
I'm going off the top of my head without the report. He had I thought a full-size Blazer, because I used to own a full-size Blazer, and there was an address in Las Vegas and I know we went out and checked that address, but it turned out nothing.
Please, can we be done with him? He hasn't even done cross yet.
But that's how that all came about, David Keith. And I know that we ended up, because we couldn't find Davion Brooks, at the time, I don't know what they got now, we had a thing called Scope, which the people would get their sheriff's cards or criminal history would go in there, and we could flag a person. So if they were stopped by officers or arrested, that we could be notified. And so we had flagged Davion Brooks, and I believe eventually we must have been down because I was out of town, but Mike Franks and Kevin Manning went and interviewed him.
So at this point, we have the names of Orlando Anderson, you have the name of Corey Edwards, you have the name of Davion Brooks, you have the name of Davion Keith. Kind of fast forward, but in November of 96, well, let me ask you this. Of all the people you interviewed in that car behind, was there anybody who said he thought he could make an identification?
Yafu Fula.
Hearing this man say these names.
Someone possibly, I thought it was the driver, but I'd have to look at the report. He's the only person that thought they could possibly identify someone.
He said he was a lighter, complexion, black man. I mean, he kind of looked like he had a bitch face to us, he said.
I don't recall anybody saying they could ID the shooter. Alexander, Malcolm Greenidge, and Katari Cox were more or less more of the dark arm kind of thing.
When in November of 96 in New Jersey, does something happen to Yafula?
Unfortunately, Yafu Fula was murdered. We were notified, I want to say it was Orange, New Jersey, somewhere in that area. We learned that Yafu Fula had been murdered. This was after...
Imagine the cops say you kind of have a bitch face.
Death Row Records, David Kenner, who was the attorney, they had told us that if we needed to talk to anybody from the Outlaws or anybody, that we needed to contact them to make arrangements. And somewhere in the reports that there's several attempts were made to try to get a hold of Yafu Fula.
Oh, KVD's raising his hand?
That.
Girl, what got into him?
I
Sit
want to
still.
fast forward to March 9th of 1997. Did you
It's like when you're in church and you got elbow. Sit still. Just be still.
aware that
From the
another
church.
famous rapper by the name of Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls, also known as Notorious B.I.G.,
Okay.
was killed outside the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yes.
And LAPD was responsible for that investigation.
Correct.
At some point, you have contact with Fred Miller, one of the lead detectives from LAPD.
This new chair, it does a lot.
And then shortly thereafter, March 17th or so, did you attempt to contact, well, let me ask you this, did you contact Frank Alexander to do photo lineups?
Yes. Mike Franks and I went down and we met Frank Alexander. If that's what the report said, it was around March 17th down in Orange County somewhere, California.
Like you never heard of that?
I had taken probably, I think it was 10 photo lineups that we had prepared, because I had since the shooting and all, Frank had kind of turned around. I think he had gone cross with Death Row Records, and things turned around, and he was willing to meet with us, and that's when I showed him the photo lineups.
Judge and I talked to Mr. Stamp about not having to lay the foundation with each one of these with Mr. Stamp, but I have in my hand those 10 photo lineups, which are marked 76 through 5.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection to admission?
Yes.
All right, they'll be taken.
And I'm going to start with number 10, which is 85. I have to go in and out here a few times. But
They muted him, thank
each
God,
of
girl.
these photo lineups that
Look, you could
have,
see him on the screen.
did you have a reason why you had these particular people in photo lineups?
Main players that were in these photo lineups were, well, obviously Orlando Anderson was in there because of the beatdown at the MGM. I mean, and because of the information we'd acquired from Compton. Then the other people, I think Darnell Brim might have been in one of those because his name had come up. Dwayne Davis's name.
So he was in the lineup.
Terrence Brown, Smith. There's another Davis. I think it's Dwayne Davis's brother, or he's related to him somehow. Is it Kevin Davis? I think.
Let me just share my screen and we'll go through each one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
goody.
just remember there were 10 of them, and there was each person that was in the lineup. There was a reason for them being in there, just to cover our bases. We had particular people we were looking at, but we wanted to cover the basis of everybody that had come up.
So on these lineups, this is page 1, page 2, and then on the bottom, page 3 has the names of the people that are in each of those.
Let me zoom in.
Is that fair?
Those are the lineup records, yes.
And so
I can't really
it
see.
shows on March 17th of 1997.
There's KVD
you
right
would
there.
have created the photo lineup record that's your name down there.
Yes.
And this one, the suspect is number 6, Dwayne Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess I probably spelled his name wrong.
And if we go to picture number 6,
That's Dwayne Davis. He's younger. I mean,
This?
obviously, it's been a long
30
time.
years ago, right?
That don't look like him
Yeah,
no
it's been a
more.
long time.
I want a side by
Now,
side.
at this
Look at
point
her
in time,
smiling.
You're showing these photo lineups.
That's
You
him?
have
I would have thought that
indication
would have been
of
him.
who's in this vehicle.
That's not him.
An idea from information. We didn't have anybody stepping forward to say anything in particular.
Okay. And who was it? Who did you think was in the car?
Well, the four names that we were leaning on was Dwayne Davis, Terrence Brown, DeAndre Smith, and Orlando Anderson. Those were the names that we've been leaning on. But again, those are just the names we had.
Right. You had no live witness to tell you.
No.
This. You all had confidential, reliable, the CRI that
we personally didn't even have that. I mean, I guess everybody else did, but we didn't have a name that would step forward to say anything. And I believe the CRIs were even throwing out Darnell Brim.
We don't know who KVD. I think it was the one on the top. Let me look up what did KVD look like in 1990. When did they finally do that lineup? 1998 or was it 6? KVD in 90s. Oh, this don't really help. Unless, is it him? That don't help either. Okay. So that's what he looked like.
I'm going to kind of go through each one of these, but there's one I want to show you. And you've looked at these 10 photo lineups recently, right?
Correct.
And then there's another 6 photo lineups that you have where there's just a handwritten log that goes with them, right?
Yeah, and after looking at those, I'm wondering if those are photo lineups that I did later, because the 4 girls that I think Mike interviewed that night at the shooting scene, I had attempted to get in touch with them, and I think I talked to a couple of them, and 1 or 2 of them lived in the LA area.
Okay.
And I think it was LAPD. We had sent some lineups to them to look at. Those might have been the lineups we so.
These are the logs. This is the logs you wrote for each one of those lineups, right? So you had Orlando Anderson in 1.
Jerry Bonds was a name that came up very, very early on.
Jerry Bonds.
And I think Compton had it. And as time went on, Jerry Bonds' name kind of was fading out. I think he's a South Side Compton Crip, but as things went on, his name just started disappearing, even from the informants.
And then the last one on there is Big Dre or DeAndre Smith.
DeAndre Smith, who is the guy that we think was in the back seat with Orlando Anderson.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go to the DeAndre Smith photo lineup, and that's 91. And he'd be in position number 3, correct? Oh wait, you can't see it. I didn't share it with you yet.
No,
Yeah, we can't see it, bro.
So.
Let me share it with you.
Look around, look around.
But if your log has him in position number 3, that'd be him in number 3.
Okay.
Looking at it, yeah.
I don't see
kinda
Keefe.
looks familiar, and that number 15 would be my writing. So this is one of the later photos.
I don't see no 15. I don't see
This
QVD.
one, yeah, this is definitely one of the later photos. This is one we had early on.
So now I want to go to photo lineup that you wrote as number 1, which is State's Exhibit number 76. Can't believe I have to stop the share every time, but. I'm going to zoom in here on number 2 and then share it with you here. Maybe.
We don't need a legacy.
Person there in number 2, that appears to be DeAndre Smith, correct?
Okay, DeAndre Smith has entered the chat.
That's probably an early photo because what
DeAndre.
I'm looking at, I think.
Look how they cut it out with
probably-
scissors.
I don't know if those were California DMV photos or what, because from what I recall, we had to cut the pictures out because the backgrounds were all different colors, and we were trying not to make different colors on the photo lineup, so we didn't
This was the 90s.
come into conflict down the road with anybody. I think Mr. Sanford would agree. If you have a yellow, red, blue, that causes issues. So that's why we did this. And this is all we had that was available at the time.
So I want to roll down here. The weird thing about this record is
Number 6 didn't have a name.
number 6 didn't have a name, but also number 2, even though it's a picture of DeAndre Smith,
It says Andre Norton.
is Andre Norton. Is that possibly an AKA for Mr. Smith?
Probably.
Probably.
You know, we're talking what, 97? Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Andre Norton. I'd have to look at his rap sheet.
you still need people's name.
No. But because there's no ID number over there, that's probably what it is. Because usually if there's an ID number, that's a Metro thing. And DeAndre Smith, whatever, wouldn't have had anything, because I don't think he had a history with Las Vegas.
Okay.
Now, as I go through each of these photo lineups that you have, let's go to number 2.
Yeah, the reason it's hard to hear the live stream of the trial is because this guy has his speaker up so freaking loud that if you have the prosecutor where you can hear him, this guy just blows the speakers out. So it is a little hard to hear. Sorry about that, but this is the only way.
State's Exhibit number 77. And we roll down here. I guess I should share it for you.
Yeah, share it, please. Thank you.
Here in position number 3 is Orlando. We roll down here in position number 3 is Orlando Anderson. Is that right?
Okay, you're right.
And position number 3 is Orlando.
Yes, that's Orlando. He had a pretty recognizable face.
Not HD.
Again, that would have been a similar deal where the backgrounds were all different colors, so that's why we had to cut them out.
QVD looks tired.
Share with you.
I'm ready for a nap.
8. And then show you down at the bottom. Darnell Brim's in position number 1.
Darnell Brims.
Yeah,
Brim.
when I saw the picture, it looked like him up in the, something about the faces that kind of remember.
But that'd
Yeah.
be Darnell Brim.
That would be Darnell Brim.
Girl.
Let's go to
Who came in? Who walked in? Everybody turning around to look. Oh, look at him scowling. Scowling, looking around. Who's he looking? Ah,
And if we roll down here,
this is some drama. Oh, the most exciting thing to happen in hours.
number 5 would be Jerry Bonds.
Jerry Bonds. That's
And if we roll up here,
right here. Let's roll. Let's roll.
in position number 5, we have Jerry Bonds.
Jerry
Correct.
Bonds. Very
Yes.
blurry. How could you identify anything from this?
Okay.
Look how tiny.
Number 5, we roll down to the bottom, which is State's Exhibit number 80.
That's Davion Brooks. Yeah.
Davion Brooks
5.
in position number 5, and if we roll up here, that's Davion Brooks in position number 5.
He looks young.
Yeah.
And that's the potentially young kid based upon what Yafula said that caused you guys to do the pen and all those other things.
He's the guy who did the pen register on. Yes.
Number 6. Oops. And this will be State's Exhibit number
Look at him stretching.
81. I gotta share it with you. We roll down here. David Keith is in position number 1, and so that would be David Keith.
Yes. And the reason we put the tape on there is I think those were probably ID numbers or something. So we're again trying not to create problems with the different booking photos or something. And I don't know if this is a
That's Bruno Mars' uncle.
thing
Look at
for a
him.
sheriff's card, but we just
You
covered
made
them
me
up,
feel.
I mean,
lessen the conflict.
you learned during the course of your investigation that Mr. Keith worked at the MGM, which meant he must have a work card, ergo he must have a photo.
At a minimum, he had to have a work card. Yes.
Hold the next one. Number 82. There we go. We roll down 82, and in spot number 5 is Kevin Davis.
Kevin Davis. Yeah.
Number 5 is photograph of Kevin Davis.
Okay. Yes.
And your understanding is that Mr. Davis, Kevin Davis, is Dwayne Davis's brother.
I think that's what it was. I knew he was a relative. For some reason, I thought they were brothers.
You recall a point in time when a .40 caliber Glock was found on Mr. Davis.
I don't remember if it was on him. There's 2 firearms that I can recall.
Okay.
I know that Mike Collette from the LA County Sheriff's Office had a firearm. If that was on him, then that would be it.
KPG's face.
Mentioned a Glock 40, and I had him enter those cartridges into what we had was drug fire then. I don't know if they still have it. And then I had our firearms people do the comparison on that.
And ultimately, that wasn't your murder weapon.
The firearms examiner said it was not the weapon.
And so, drug fire, which is, I think, the jury will hear later, is now called NIBIN. But drug fire was a way for photographs of casings to be put into a computer and then somebody somewhere else could check casings that were found and see if they matched the same gun, casing to casing.
Yeah, the forensics guys that do all those firearms things, they know how to do all that stuff. All I know is if I get the information, I ask the people to enter it in to drug fire at the time, and then those firearms people.
Number 2, correct?
Yeah.
Edwards in position 3.
Okay.
And when we roll up here to position number 3, that'd be Corey Edwards.
Yeah. Does he always have that beard? I don't remember. It's been so long, but yeah.
Lord.
When you showed Mr. Alexander these photo lineups, was he able to pick anybody out?
He said he could not.
Do you know where Mr. Alexander is today?
From what I was told, he committed suicide, so he's deceased.
Oh my.
Did you attempt to show those photo lineups to Malcolm Greenridge?
I think it was the next day, because what started this was a newspaper article. So we went and met Malcolm with Reggie Wright Jr. And I think I learned later, because there's a report, that there's some other guy came with him. We met them at the Compton Police Department, and we sat down with Malcolm and we offered to show him these photo lineups. And Malcolm said he never wanted to see the lineups because he said he could never identify anybody. So basically, he declined to look at the photo lineups.
You mentioned a news story. What was in the news story that caused you to think you should go probably talk to Mr. Green?
Okay, news story he saw.
A reporter named Chuck Phillips that was working for the LA Times at the time that was, well, that's my opinion. Anyhow, Chuck Phillips was writing an article claiming that there were 2 witnesses that the Metropolitan Police Department were refusing to talk to, Frank Alexander and Malcolm Greenidge. When we got a hold of Frank Alexander and Malcolm Greenidge, they both stated that the words that Chuck Phillips used were not their words, that they had never said those words. And that Malcolm Greenidge said he said he could never identify anybody, so he had no reason to look at the photo lineups. Frank Alexander basically said the same thing, that the story was not the way he had told it.
Now, you were a homicide detective in Las Vegas, Nevada, Clark County, right?
Correct.
This crime appears to have come from Compton and returned shortly thereafter to Compton, right? All the witnesses, everything is there, correct?
Everybody that is related to this crime that we know of is coming from California, yes.
And so, are you a peace officer in California? You got the same powers you have here in Las Vegas?
Obviously not.
And how many times did you trip to California, generally, in an effort to talk to people about this particular case?
We made 10 to 12 trips to California. Not all of those trips were with law enforcement, because there came a time where we weren't necessarily wanting to deal with law enforcement. So we went down there that many times to try and
What does that mean?
contact different people. In fact, every time we went to California, we tried to contact Death Row Records, but got the runaround. So
ultimately, were you left with any avenue to further your investigation?
Not till KVD started running his big mouth.
The thing we ever got was we ended up the revocation hearing for Suge Knight, where I ended up providing a videotape of from the MGM for the DA's office down there.
Let me ask
The
you
one
about
time,
that. Let me ask you
Go ahead.
about that. So, Suge Knight, at the time that he is involved at this fight with Orlando Anderson at the MGM, he is on probation, both federal and state probation in California, correct?
that's the way it was presented to us, yes.
And at that particular hearing, did he call a witness in his defense to claim he was trying to stop the fight?
Orlando Anderson was subpoenaed as a witness for Suge Knight, yes.
And did he testify that Suge Knight was trying to help him, not hurt him?
Orlando Anderson apparently, because I wasn't allowed in the courtroom, but apparently Orlando Anderson testified in court that day that Suge Knight was trying to help him.
And then were you the witness that laid the foundation for the videotape that disputed that testimony at that revocation hearing?
Breaking news, something very groundbreaking is now happening. Keefe D wrote something on a pink Post-it note and passed it to his lawyer.
Because I had talked to Orlando Anderson in Compton the day of the search warrants, and he told me differently, I was there as an impeachment witness in case Orlando decided to tell the story that he did tell. And I testified that Orlando told me otherwise, that Suge Knight and TUPAC had basically beat him down pretty good.
So
Thank you, sir. Judge, I pass it.
Orlando Baby Lane had he had basically so-called supposedly snitched, but then changed his story.
All right, cross-examination, Mr. Singh.
Powers as a police officer in Nevada.
I'm just fast forwarding through this guy. I'm done with him.
Or within Nevada.
And and as a result, what that means is when you enter into another state, you're technically not a police officer per se. I mean, you are a police officer, but you don't have a jurisdiction. Is that how you would frame it?
Correct. If we were, say, to want to arrest someone in another state, I mean, you could have someone arrest them, but you'd have to go through an extradition proceeding to bring someone over to Nevada. And that takes time. It's not like you can just go grab a guy and bring him back to Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, in terms of your work here on this case, I just wanted to make sure that I was clear on a couple things.
Okay.
You went through a lot of photo lineups, right?
Correct.
And you'd referenced to me a little bit about the photo lineups, and fair to say, of course, as a defense attorney, you want to make sure that each photo lineup does not suggest the answer to the question, right?
Right.
Correct.
So back in those days, you're cutting pictures, you're actually cutting photographs out and just pasting them in such a way to try to eliminate backgrounds and so forth, so that
Right.
the person that's looking at the photo lineup won't be suggested as to what the answer is.
That's what our attempt was. Yes, sir.
Now, just for the jury's edification, when someone is being shown a photo lineup, they're in a room, they see the photo lineup, and then at that point, you wait for them to respond and see which one of the 6 people in there they recognize, right?
Well, you'd show the lineup and ask them if they recognize anybody in the lineup. You don't say who in this lineup, do you recognize? You just say, do you recognize anybody in the lineup?
Right, and the reason why you ask that question that way is you do not want to suggest an answer to your question. Or
Correct. You don't want to try and make them lean towards anybody in particular.
right, because there are instructions that are part of those photo lineups that say there may not be a person at all that we're interested in the 6 people that we present to you, right? You could have a photo lineup with nobody in it that you would have as a target. Fair?
That's a fair statement. Yes, sir.
Now, in this particular regard, once a person sees who that person believes to be somebody associated with whatever investigation you're looking at, they typically would circle the picture and maybe put down a percentage of how sure they are of that person. being the person that's involved in something. Is that how that works?
Yeah, typically what I would do anyhow, is I'd have them initial the back of the photograph, the particular photograph of the person.
Right.
And if there was a percentage, yeah, I would have them put that on there, say at 80%, 60, whatever that is, you know, or 100%, whichever.
Now, of course, during this time period, as you are putting together these photo lineups, the majority of the individuals that the state identified in each photo lineup are people that are associated with Southside Crips. Would that be an accurate description?
I believe everybody was, I don't remember, was Roger Williams one of them? Because he's not a Crip. He's a Piru or mob guy. So he's a Blood.
I think
But
they're
everybody else was a Crip, yes.
right. And so, because you were under the premise that there was a gang war, that the Southside Crips had actually shot at Tupac and Suge Knight because they were Piru Blood, and so you were identifying just Southside Crips and putting them into photo lineups. Is that how that worked?
Yeah, we were using Crips because that was the information. Again, we were basing a lot of things off the information we were getting from Compton.
My mic is muted, girl. I was
So
talking.
even as you're receiving this information from Compton, even as you sit here right now, sir, you weren't comfortable necessarily with all of the information you were receiving from Compton, right?
We weren't comfortable with certain things in Compton, yes.
For instance, the way they were conducting their business as law enforcement in Compton was not the way you would recommend or know that Metro would do here in Las Vegas. Fair?
We witnessed a couple of interview techniques that we weren't comfortable with, yes.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, what were
Now,
they?
In addition, as you are having these photo lineups, did these photo lineups ever go to anyone back in Las Vegas? For instance, we've heard some testimony from some females that were in a vehicle, some other people maybe that would have been at the scene. Were those photo lineups ever shown to anyone that was, like the girls in the Sebring or anything like that?
That's where I'm wondering, I think there was 5 photos later on that are shown, not the original 10. I don't remember the exact number, but there are 5 later photos. And I think I mentioned it during my earlier testimony that we sent to, I believe, someone in LAPD. And I know that of the 4 girls in the Sebring, I only think 1 or 2 said they were willing to look at the photo lineups. And I think photo lineups were sent to LA so they could show them to those.
And do you
1 or 2
recall?
girls,
Do you
yes.
recall what the results were of those photo lineups being sent to the girls in LA?
I don't believe they identified anybody.
And fair to say that in this particular regard, the photo lineup that shows Terrence Brown, no one, as far as you know, no one identified Terrence Brown as being in a vehicle, even in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996.
If Terrence Brown was in one of those photo lineups, then he wasn't identified, correct?
How about DeAndre Smith? Was he ever identified by anybody in a photo line and his photo lineup as being present in Las Vegas, Nevada on September 7th, 1996?
I don't recall anybody being identified in a photo lineup.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, sir, your testimony was that you were the primary detective on this case originally.
Myself and Mike Franks, we didn't really have a lead, but yeah.
All right. You drew the short straw basically on this one, right?
I guess I'm the guy that's name is all over everything, but yeah.
Well, congratulations. Let me ask you this question though. As a police officer, did you write reports of all of your activity that you did during the course of this investigation?
Anytime we did something, I did an officer's report. I know Mike Franks did several reports too, yes.
And would there ever be a time during the time that you were handling this investigation that you would have chosen not to have written a officer's report?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
No, if we'd have had a trip, especially any trip we did out of state, anything where we went out and did anything, I'd have done an officer's report. Back in the day, apparently they do things a little different.
They do
even if
things
it was a
differently over
one-paragraph,
there.
We did officer's reports.
And as far as you know, based upon your knowledge of what happened to your file after you left, is the file complete in terms of your reports and what you did in this case?
I left, it was, yes.
Is it now?
I don't know. I've never seen the case file, so I don't know what it looks like now. I've heard rumors.
Actually.
The district attorney's office had forwarded over to you some documents to help you with your preparation for testimony here today, right?
Correct.
Were
They-
were those documents all of the officers' reports that you wrote while you were on this investigation?
No.
Now, in addition to that, sir, you had testified a little bit about the Luxor, I think. You had mentioned something about there was some information that TUPAC and Suge Knight had both had rooms at the Luxor. Is that correct?
That's the information we had, yes, sir.
Okay. In addition to that, was there any video that was captured of the vehicles that had gone to the Luxor to pick up Tupac while he was at the Luxor?
I don't remember a specific video of the vehicles. I mean, there was hearsay of vehicles, but I don't remember specific videos.
Okay.
Off the top of my head. I
No
don't.
flock cams back then.
And because you were the lead detective, of course, you're accumulating all of the information that's being gathered, sometimes from other police officers in furtherance of your investigation, right?
Yeah, if it's given to me, yes, and it's put into the case file, yes.
Right. And so with regards to the Luxor incident, you learned and you had put into your officer's report that Tupac Shakur was picked up with some people, looks like around 10 o'clock at the ballet. You recall that?
I don't think I did an officer's report reference the ballet, no.
I have a document here, looks like your signature's at the bottom as the officer.
If you could show it to me, like I said, I've seen some documents from this that I don't recall, but if you have it, show it to me, I'd be happy.
Oh, man.
You want me to run it right over for you right now?
Yeah, if you could
Kidding,
show
I'm
it to
kidding.
me.
Let me do
I just don't
this.
recall it.
Now, I believe that we had submitted some documents for your review as well. Do you recall the documents
Right.
that we reviewed?
I remember, because I remember you showing me a document from LA that I didn't remember too, so.
Right.
But it's
This
been a
would-
while, so.
This would be titled the Murder or Attempt Murder Supplement. Do you recall that document?
Okay, wait a minute,
Okay.
is this the report with Beard on it?
Correct. That's right.
Oh, okay, that report. Now I remember that report, yes.
And I apologize if I wasn't clear enough. But-
Okay, I remember that report, yes.
And in that report, for instance, there was a discussion about the number of vehicles that had pulled up to pick up Tupac, and one of the vehicles that was there was a Cadillac that was white with 4 black males in it. Do you recall that?
Correct.
Okay, so the way we're looking at it right now is Tupac comes out of the Luxor, he gets picked up in a long caravan of cars, and the last car is a white Cadillac with 4 black males in it. Right?
Correct.
Okay. And that's based upon your investigation.
Correct.
Now, in addition to that, we talked a little bit about the pen registers. Can you explain to the jury what a pen register is?
Yeah, I'm
Pen
wondering.
register isn't the same as a, pen register is more or less, you're getting a number and you're more or less recording those numbers.
So,
It's not quite the same as you're recording phone calls and listening to them, where in that particular case, you actually have people in a room and they're actually listening to calls, and if the call is not pertaining to your investigation, you're supposed to turn it off and not listen to it. It's something that's not pertaining to it. And that a pen register is more or less information to record calls. It's a tool to assist you.
Is it
in your
wiretapping?
investigation if it turns out to be something that's valuable. That was the intent.
right.
When we did the pen register, we never got to do it because we did the pen register. You have to file it with the county, and lo and behold, the next day it was in the newspaper.
Oh, lo and behold.
Basically, it was a waste of time.
Well, I mean, for instance, the pen register would be, you would target someone's phone number.
Okay.
And so the.
Correct.
the
That was
pen
the intent.
And the pen register would record the numbers that were either going to that phone number or that phone number making phone calls out of that to other people.
That was the intent.
Now, in this case, can you tell us, for instance, what Keefy D's phone number was at that particular time?
I couldn't tell you. No.
And with regards to the phone records that we had received, there were some numbers that were either from Monte Carlo, and I don't know if it was from the Luxor, but do any of those phone numbers register back to a pager? Because this is 1996, right? So it's got to be a pager, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what was around 1996 besides the pager.
I believe those phone numbers were actually the phone numbers to the hotels themselves.
Right. And so outside of that, we don't have any fact that Keefy D's pager or phone number was either dialed to or received in from either the Luxor or the Monte Carlo, is what's been shared here today, right?
Not on those calls, sir.
Now, in addition to that, you had mentioned as well the search warrants that occurred in Compton. Now, these search warrants that occurred, fair to say that they also, they were doing these search warrants to try to retrieve firearms to help quell or to suppress any potential violence in Compton. Is that the reason or purpose for those search warrants?
I don't know what, it was their search warrant. I can't tell you what the purpose, other than my understanding was there was an arrest warrant for Orlando Anderson. All that other stuff, that's Compton's thing.
Yeah.
It was their search warrant.
And in terms of that search warrant, did you ever see the results, or was Keefy D's house or residence in Compton searched as well?
I don't remember. I'd have to. The return had so much information on there. I'd have to sit there and look at it again. I just don't remember right off the top of my head if Keefy D's house was on that return or not.
I can hear somebody whispering.
And in terms of your investigation, did you ever have to deal directly with Reggie Wright Jr.?
Reggie Wright Jr.
The only face-to-face, and it would have been brief, would have been at Compton when he brought Malcolm Greenidge in, but I don't think there was any talk. And the reason we probably didn't talk to him was because his dad was a lieutenant at Compton.
Dad was a
And
lieutenant.
what did that mean to you as to why you wouldn't talk to him because his dad was a lieutenant?
Corruption.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, our feeling was, well, if your dad's a Compton lieutenant and you're the head of Death Row Records security,
Nothing's going to happen to him.
I just have a problem with the communications line there. Maybe I'm being distrustful on that. I just worry about what's being said between the two parties.
Right,
Were you
same.
aware during the course of your investigation that Reggie Wright Jr. instructed his people to lie to you?
Oh, Reggie Wright Jr. instructed his people to lie.
I was told later on by Frank Alexander that he said that, yes.
In addition to that, we had talked a little bit about the video footage that was captured at the MGM. Did you at any point when you looked at that video footage observe or see Dwayne Davis, Keefe D, in that surveillance video?
No.
And then finally, your recollection is, so you wake up in the morning, you get the call, you arrive on scene, and when you get there, you had said, and this might be an old Nevada thing, but everyone skedaddled before I got there. You remember saying something like that?
An old Nevada
Did you,
saying,
during that time
skedaddle.
period, ever observe a white Cadillac sitting there waiting for somebody inside to talk to either yourself or any other police officers about what happened at the scene?
No.
And then finally, you had mentioned a little bit about Suge Knight, and you had said that you believed that he was timid or afraid when he showed up with 3 attorneys to talk to you.
Yeah, I think he was rather timid, yes.
Sure. And it would be fair to say, of course, that you don't know why he was timid, right? I mean, he's walking in with 3 attorneys. I mean, is he worried that he's going to get caught doing something wrong, or is he there because he's worried about something else? You don't know, right?
I don't know why he was. It's just I'm sitting there thinking, one, why the victim showing up with 3 attorneys? That was just an odd thing to me.
Right. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Oh, happy day. Whew.
Any redirect, Mr. Jackson?
Oh, happy day. Oh, man. Boo. Boo. Oh, sad day.
Of course.
Who's next? He's doing redirect. Prosecutor is coming up for redirect. Keefe D's lawyer just finished his cross-examination of this witness. This has been the most extremely annoying man to listen to of the whole day. I mean, he seems
right,
nice enough. It's really mostly the technology's issue, not him. But, woo.
Jump in here just
All right, here we go.
a little bit with you. Hold on one second.
Oh, boy, that means we're going to jump in a long
So
bit.
we can share some screens here.
Oh, boy. Keefe D is smirking. Breaking news. Keefe D is open mouth breathing. He's glancing about.
No, I can't get that thing to come up so I can share the screen.
The prosecutor can't get the thing to come up. How's my poll doing? What'd y'all say in the poll? The prosecutor just said,
Okay.
where the hell is my Zoom?
I want to start with an aerial that's been admitted as State's Exhibit number 1. I'm going to put it up big for you here. Can you see that?
No.
Just a minute. Okay, yeah, now I do.
Hear how loud?
So, your understanding is that Suge and the entourage were coming down this way, westbound on Flamingo towards the 662 Club.
Yeah, Flamingo towards Cobalt, yes.
And after the shooting, what's your understanding as to what Mr. Suge...
Did you say westbound or eastbound?
Oh, my Lord.
Heading eastbound towards the 662, correct?
Correct.
What's your understanding as to what Suge and the majority of that entourage do after the shooting?
My understanding is once the shooting happened, they made a U-turn, went westbound on Flamingo, southbound on the boulevard, Las Vegas Boulevard, and came to a stop. If that red dot is at Las Vegas Boulevard and Harmon. That's where they came to a stop.
And it wasn't just Mr. Knight's vehicle that was stopped at that location. There were a number of other cars that were part of that entourage that remained at the scene for photographing. Is that correct?
My understanding, because obviously Frank Alexander and the other three gentlemen were there, so their car must have been there. If Kevin Woods got talked to, and I think there was somebody else, so I'm guessing their car was there. If there were other cars there, no one said anything about it. So I don't know how many. I remember the car that Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur were in was there in the intersection.
Right. And two of the wheels have been blown out from hitting a curb.
The rims were banged up from going over the median there in the middle of the Flamingo.
So, and then the entire crime scene would have been taped off by initial patrol, correct?
Yeah, I remember the street was pretty well taped off from what I recall.
And when they put crime scene tape up, they put crime scene tape up around the entire area they're trying to protect. Whether or not the people that were in those vehicles stayed at that location, there are more than one vehicle that's taped off in this scene. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
They should be. They should be taping off a wider area than a smaller area. It's easier to come in than to go out.
So this is going to make me kick me back in and out every time, but let's go through this.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you're going to tape off an area, you'd rather make it bigger than start smaller, because it's easier to start bigger and close it than to start small and make it wider, because once you've made it small, you got looky-loos, everybody coming in, and it's tough to get people out then.
So now I'm going to share this photograph. That's the rear of Mr. Shakur and Suge Knight's vehicle, or at least appears to be, correct?
This is at the scene, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I see the tape in the distance. Okay. And
See no license
That's
plate.
exhibit number 6.
okay. Is this on the boulevard?
The witness, I don't know his name. He's a detective. He worked on the case, and he's just saying, really, I think pretty much nothing new. He's just a detective.
I believe the testimony is that this vehicle is Las Vegas Boulevard in Herman.
Okay, I see the black and white up ahead just because I see the reflective from the door.
I'm going to go through exhibit number
What's that white car?
Well, we're going to go through all of these for you in just a second. Of course, I got to do this the hard way. So now I'm going to show you number 20.
We're caught up.
There's obviously a different black BMW that's inside. If you look real close on the right side, the crime scene.
Okay.
Okay, this one has a license plate, though. Oh my, are we going to be
Okay.
getting two BMWs?
22.
22.
I'm going to click out of this.
I'm guessing that license plate number is on the report, so.
Look, he's got the hurricane lamps up there with the oil in them.
Now we're looking at 24. Share my screen. There's a black Lexus within the crime scene tape.
Yep. I see it.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
So all those cars that are in that line to the side is just regular traffic being going by.
Breaking news. Keefy D has taken a tissue. wadded it into a ball, and is scratching and or cleaning his ear canal.
Then within the tape,
Keefy D is yawning.
this is State's Exhibit number 24. There's a silverish Mercedes.
Okay. So is Kevin Woods is probably in at least one of these.
Silver Mercedes.
And then 26. There, 26. Also in the tape, there's white. I think if you zoom in really close down here, which I don't know if I can do on here.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this. There you
It's probably the license. Oh, it's a
go. A Dodge Avenger.
Dodge Avenger. Okay, and the license plate
Okay.
number. Because I remember on the original crime report, there are license plate numbers on vehicles, and I'd have to look at it to see what they match up to.
Keefy D is crying out of boredom. Breaking news. Keefy D has just wiped a tear out of boredom.
Mr. Stamp asked you questions about going to the Luxor.
Okay.
Okay.
You recall those questions?
Yes.
Would it refresh your memory as to exactly what you found out at the Luxor to review that report that you generated?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Keefy D is wiping his eye, yawning, and not covering his mouth. Okay, I stand corrected. He has now covered his mouth. Thank you, Brittany, for the 200 jewels. Thank you, Mar Losh, for the 2 jewels. Thank you, Morgan, for the jewels.
This one more time.
Thank you, Morgan, for being a member for 4
There we
months.
go. All right.
Been working so hard. You must be so tired. Thanks for everything. We appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, here we go.
Right, Brian Beard, yeah. Okay.
So the beginning is just sort of a little paragraph that you wrote
He's wiping his eye again.
about what the investigation is about.
That's just a very brief synopsis about what happened the night of the shooting, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you indicated you talked to Brian Beard, who was working security at the Luxor.
Correct.
At about 10 p.m., he saw Mr. Shakur with a large group of people at the valet. Shakur and his group entered numerous vehicles and drove onto Las Vegas Boulevard around 10:30.
Right.
Beard recalls a black 2-door Mercedes, a dark-colored Hummer, a 2-tone van, and a black 4-door Mercedes or BMW in the entourage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the Hummer was supposed to be MC Hammer.
And then you also talked to Angel
Right.
Zavala. He was
Lord.
working as well.
Breaking news. I think Keefy D might got pink eye. He might got conjunctivitis. He's been rubbing that eye.
His recollection of the vehicles were there was a white Dodge Caravan, a black BMW
Right.
or Mercedes, and 2 other black vehicles. 2 white vehicles were also behind the group. Zavalza said he thought the last car was a Cadillac or Buick with 4 black males, was what he reported.
Right. That's correct.
Thank you, Josh. I have nothing further.
Okay. Any requests?
Just real quick, Detective Becker, with regards to that last line, the last line is that the last white vehicle was either a Cadillac or a Buick, right? So the Cadillac was a white Cadillac.
Correct. That's the way that's worded, yes.
All right.
Either a white Cadillac or Buick, yes.
All right, no further questions, thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, any questions? Seeing no hands, thank you.
Jeez, how long did that guy last?
Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right,
That
so
was rough.
any additional witnesses for today?
Whew.
Will we approach this?
Come on.
God dang it. Any additional witnesses for today? And he said, look at Keefy D grinning. He said, can we approach? And now we got the mic cut out or cut off. Wow. On a scale of 1 to 10, was that the boringest thing you ever heard in your life? I couldn't even find anything to joke about. Jeez. Any more witnesses today? What time is the court open until? It's only 3:15 over there. Keefy D looks like a cartoon character from the 70s. Remember they used to draw their like the flappy cheek thing? Mountain Man from Duck Dynasty. If only he were that entertaining. Okay, what? Well, the judge looks like she's happy that she gets to leave early. My speculation is they're leaving.
Take another 15-minute break while we try to get some Zoom things going.
Oh,
During this recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse among
who's
yourselves
coming
or
in
anyone
on Zoom?
else on any subject connected to the trial, or read, watch, or listen to any reported or commentary on the trial of any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected to the trial until it is submitted to you. We'll see you guys back 3:30. Please rise for the jury.
Okay, I'm going on a break. I'll see you on
We'll be in recess. Thank you, everyone.
15 minutes. Okay, who's ready for round 3, 4? Okay. Now, they said they were going to be back. Okay, we still got 6 minutes. Okay, cool. Whew. Nice. Turn my little space heater on just for a minute. The judge needs to take a break so she can wake up. You think she went in the back and took a little espresso shot? Let's see what y'all were saying. We're all smiling now that guy's done. Now, they didn't say who. They didn't say who. They did not say who it was going to be, who was going to be coming in. Should we watch a Reckless Ben video while we wait, or how many people in here are from that? We still have 6 minutes before they come back. He has a new video. Look, it keeps like advertising to me right here. What did I find interesting today? Possibly MC Hammer was in the Hummer. That I thought was interesting. What else? I think the defense's theory of the case. No, I won't say theory of the case. I think that they're playing around with a few defenses right now. One of them, I think, seems to be KVD wasn't even in Vegas. Another one seems to be Suge Knight did it. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Luigi Mangione is going to be out of jail by 48 years old, they said. Lee Sujo said break. TGF. Oh, cameras are moving. Her back hurts. She needs to go do a stretch. She needs some milk. I should play my music video. I gotta get them more easily accessible. I always, for some reason, always takes me so long to find them, and I just need to save them somewhere easier. No, I know, but my air conditioner works really good. So, get a little chill, it's like sun is setting over here. It's like dusk. MC Hammer is a puppet master, they saying? He's more powerful than almost all these rappers. And he can't touch this. He doesn't play. He is puppet master. MC Hammer, really? And always has his 1,000-man crew do his bidding. Look, no, I don't want no smoke with MC Hammer. Can't touch this. Ain't gonna try. So the fact MC Hammer was possibly there inside the sealed off perimeter, this is giving you pause. K420 Diddy. Camera has moved. Camera is moving. Still 3 minutes to go. Watch videos of his power. Where? Just type in MC Hammer power on YouTube or what? What if it's going to be Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs coming on this camera right now? What would y'all do? if they subpoenaed him and he zoomed in from jail, from prison. He's doing some little movements, some hand movements. QVD's lawyer. He's got a binder. He's pacing. Okay. The lady on the front row, I don't know if she is a lawyer. She could be a journalist. It's hard to tell. Is she in the well on the second row of the well? Or is she a family member? I mean, it's hard to tell with her, but she's looking with goo eyes at QVD's defense counsel. Rigoletto, we'll call him. No, we won't. The problem is Rigoletto has been burned in a fire. So they have this like burn victim prosthetic on his face, but they show him in like a flashback scene where he's not burnt. And that's who I'm saying looks like this lawyer. He does. And it's the same hair. I think that's really most of it. There's really not much to recap. It's really like all the same stuff over and over. The prosecutors are just getting them to confirm who was in what seat, what street and what road did it happen on. I mean, like I said, one thing I found interesting, I highlighted it. MC Hammer was possibly in a Hummer, and it seems like possible defenses of Keefe D's lawyers are that Keefe D wasn't even in Las Vegas at all. Like they keep asking, like, well, he wasn't on the camera, right? Did you ever see Keefe D in the fight in the MGM? The other possible defense theory is that Suge Knight pulled the trigger. This would be crazy to me because Suge Knight was in the car. He was in the car with Tupac. Apparently Suge got shot. So that's weird to me that could be a theory they're leaning on, but it seems like they are. Like he asked this most recent witness with the echo feedback from hell, and then it got worse from there. Oh, can you imagine? I would have had to get off. I would have had to leave. I wouldn't have been able to sit through that. The echoing and that man. Oh no, no ma'am. Anyway, so one of the things that came up was Suge Knight did it because he was timid and afraid when he interviewed with the police, and also because why would he be timid and afraid? And the witness was like, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he showed up with 3 attorneys. That was just, I felt like that was overkill. And I'm like, I didn't feel like that was overkill at all. I didn't feel, someone got shot and he got shot too. He got shot too. It's not overkill to be very, very wealthy, very successful, and in a life or death situation, not know who you can trust. Oh, it makes the most sense to me of anything Suge Knight ever did that he would show up with 3 lawyers to talk. Absolutely. The guy on the stand acted like he was like pissed off about that or something. But girl, I mean, actually, that was a really smart move. What the hell? Is this his car? Same stuff, corrupt cops? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna look it up later. K420 Diddy. I just never know who's gonna like copyright strike, and I don't want to get shut down midstream, but I'll look it up later. The Great Seal of the State of Nevada. All for our country. It's an interesting seal. Okay, so we're 1 minute. We're 1 minute behind. Schedule. They're supposed to be back. All right. They're supposed to be back. Let's read the description box. The murder of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur remained unsolved for nearly 3 decades. Well, it's still technically unsolved because nobody's been convicted. So more than 3 decades, right? Oh no, that'll be next month. They right. He passed away in September. So they right. Nearly 3 decades. Then well, it's still not solved. That is true anyway, whatever. Anyway, so then in 2023, investigators made a major break in the case, arresting Dwayne Keefe D. Davis and charging him with murder. Las Vegas police allege Davis orchestrated Tupac's killing and provided the gun used in the shooting. Tupac was gunned down just a block from Las Vegas Strip after a scuffle at the MGM Grand following a boxing match between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon. Tupac was riding in the passenger seat of a BMW driven by Suge Knight when a white Cadillac, pulled up alongside them and opened fire. It hit Tupac multiple times. And something that, like, I don't know if maybe I did know this and forgot, but I really don't think I did know this. I really don't think I did know this. Tupac was alive for like a week, like 6 days. He was alive for like 6 excuse me. Oh, okay. He passed on like hold on. Let me make sure I got this right. Was it 3 days or 6 days? Tupac. Hold on. How long between 6 days? 6. He died from his injuries 6 days later. That that is interesting to me. I don't think I had known that. Here's a picture of Keefe D, the last living eyewitness to Tupac's murder, telling his story. The judge fell asleep in the back. Was he in a coma? Was he an organ donor? Was Tupac an organ donor? I'm looking it up. I gotta know. No. Or no public record. Okay, why is that crackling? Stop it. That's driving me crazy. I don't know why that's doing that.
All right.
Apparently the media can hear me, so.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, he's frozen now. Can you hear me, sir?
You're very faint, yes.
If I get closer to this microphone, is that any
There
better?
we go. I got you now.
Okay.
If you wanted to question him sitting, I have no problem with that. If that'll help with the microphone issue.
I'm just going to speak up because I'm capable of asking questions in my chair.
Okay. Just offering some suggestions.
No, I appreciate the suggestion.
All right, Mr. Stamp, are we ready?
Okay, here we go.
Okay. We have
Here we
everything.
go.
Anything we need to address before we?
We're here. We're ready.
Not from the state.
No, yeah.
No.
Let's bring him in.
Staff and jury?
All rise. Oh, wait, where's my gavel? The court is now in session. Doom, 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 doom. Doodaloo, doom. Doom, 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 doom. Doodaloo. We are here today for the state of Nevada versus Commonwealth. Whatever it is. Nevada, the people, whatever, whoever. Versus Dwayne Keefe D. Davis.
The party stipulates to the presence of the jury.
Yes,
Doom,
sir.
doom, doom, doom. Doodaloo, doom, 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 doom.
You may be seated.
Doom, 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 doom. Doodaloo, doom, 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 doom. Okay.
All right, the state may call their next witness at this time.
Who's it going to be?
Fred Miller?
Craig Miller? Fred?
Hi, Mr. Miller, can you hear me or are you frozen?
Fred? Doom, 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 doom.
I can hear you, Honor.
Okay, great. I'm going to have my clerk swear you, and then
There
Mr.
seems to be a
Giacomo's going to have
pause.
some questions.
There's a delay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. If you please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Jesus Lord. I got an eardrum to
You
protect.
solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in
Oh,
this action
jeez.
shall be the truth, the whole truth,
Oh,
and
my
nothing but the
Lord.
truth, so help you God.
It's blowing my ear out.
If you please state your full name and then spell it for the record.
Fred Miller, Fredmiller.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. DiGiacomo, you may proceed.
DiGiacomo.
Thank you. Sir, how did you used to be employed?
What?
I used to be employed for the Los Angeles Police Department.
How long you were with LAPD?
Almost 30 years.
On March 9th of 1997, what was your assignment? What section were you in?
I've been assigned to Robbery Homicide Division, worked Homicide Special.
Were you one of the two detectives assigned initially the investigation into an individual identified as Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls, also
Biggie,
known
not
as the
Tupac.
notorious B.I.G.?
No, I did not receive the responsibility for the case until approximately 60 days later. We received it from the Wilshire Division, and then we took over the responsibility for the investigation.
Why would a case be transferred from Wilshire to RHD?
I'm sorry?
Why would a case at LAPD be transferred out of the Wilshire Division to the Robbery Homicide Division?
Because of the magnitude of the investigation that it looked like it was going to entail, they did not have the manpower that we had at Robbery Homicide to work a case of this magnitude.
Okay.
During the course of your investigation, did you learn how Mr. Wallace died?
That's big.
Yes, sir.
And can you describe that for us?
Yes, he received, I believe, 4 9mm projectiles to his body that caused his demise.
Caused his demise.
And where was he when he got shot?
The car.
He was sitting in the right passenger seat of his limousine that was leaving the museum.
Limousine?
And was that the Peterson Automotive Museum in
Oh,
LA?
Biggie, right.
Yes, sir, it is.
And that, was there a vibe after party after some award show that he was in attendance before he was shot?
That's correct.
And the fire marshals, did they shut down that party and that's why everyone was leaving?
That's my understanding, yes, sir.
Did you have information as to a suspect vehicle that you originally received?
That's correct. We received
Oh, great. Okay, good. Perfect.
Aqua dark, newer Chevrolet S.
Girl, just come to the
Four-door.
court. Just Zoom
Had
court is stupid.
very fancy rims on it. It was last seen going north on Fairfax and then eastbound on Wilshire Boulevard.
So I think what you just said was was a newer model Chevy Impala SS that was dark in color.
Did y'all hear him say that?
Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
And the race of your potential suspect, how was that identified to you?
Yes, it's a male black.
A male.
During the course of your investigation, did you receive information that a person by the name of Dwayne Davis might be a suspect in this homicide?
Yes, we did.
I think he's frozen just as...
Somebody get this man into the courtroom, please. This is a murder trial.
Okay. And in addition to that, did you learn that Dwayne Davis was present at the the Peterson Automotive Museum during the party?
Yes, he was.
Did you also receive information that he potentially had a motive to harm Mr. Smalls because of some sort of monetary dispute?
Objection is the leading.
What's your response?
I'm just trying
There
to
was
lay a
some-
foundation through video.
Overruled. I'll allow it given the circumstances.
Overrule.
You can answer, Mr. Miller.
He's not frozen.
Oh, God. I rebuke. I gotta take note of this. This is just both witnesses, so 2 of the 3 of the 4.
I don't think we caught your answer.
No, we didn't. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Did you receive information that he potentially had a motive over money owed to him?
Get this man off of the iPad.
Yes, from several sources, we heard that there was a dispute between Mr. Davis and TUPAC's organization.
His,
And ultimately, did you learn that Mr. Davis lived at a residence at 1524 California?
Yes,
Did you also learn that he had driven or received a citation driving a black Chevy Impala SS?
Objection, Your Honor, Lady.
Can I have the parties approach real quick?
Just redo this tomorrow.
yes.
they're trying to put this off tomorrow and let this guy get some internet. I think you just said the bandwidth. I agree. This doesn't feel like a fair trial. Like, this is a murder trial. I mean, this feels like a fair enough trial. But this witness in the current state of things, if that were to continue on, I don't feel like that's leaning toward a fair trial. You need to be able to have the people answering questions. Like, I really don't like this precedent of this Zoom court thing. This is a murder trial. This man could face life in prison. Is a death penalty eligible even? I mean, this is serious. They got these, the other idiot was, no. It's zooming and booming and it's too much. Thanks so much to Bling Auntie for the $2. CT reporter got inaudible on hotkeys right now. What does that mean, girl? Mr. Funktastic said, I was thinking the same
We're going to
thing.
take a 10-minute recess to see if we can fix the feed a little bit.
No, he needs...
During this recess,
the
you are
bandwidth.
admonished not to talk or converse amongst yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected on the trial. If any person connected with this case by any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, and radio, or form or express any opinion on any subject connected with the trial until the case is submitted to you. I apologize for the constant in and out, but we do need to try to fix this. All right, please rise for the jury.
Cool. AOL dial-up. Tomorrow, I should live tweet this.
It's working perfect.
Now it's working
For the record, the jury
perfect.
has exited the room. I don't know what they want to do.
So, Jared,
Call him back.
Jacob's gonna call him and see if we can get him closer to his Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Come back in, jurors.
Okay. If you guys want to try to play around with it,
Hello.
see if it works, and let me know
Yeah.
what you decide. Okay. All right, we'll be in recess.
Okay, they're recessing.
Oh,
They should definitely have this ready beforehand. Hard to believe something like this has never happened before. Oh, it's like constant. It's constant. It is constant. They're always with these technical difficulties. One of the reasons court and all this bull crap takes so long. Half of them don't know what they're doing. Some of them do, and they just... Don't get me started. I'll run an Ethernet cable from my house to him. I guess they don't get Wi-Fi in the desert. No, he's in LA. Is that the desert? A 10-minute recess. Mr. Funktastic said, did I ever think I'd be covering this trial one day? Well, yeah. I mean, I've been following this case since 2023. Sometimes more closely than other times, but on and off. So, I mean, at least since then, I was pretty sure I wanted to cover a trial. Like, most of the trials that I've covered in real time have ended up being no cameras allowed. And then the ones that I start getting invested in and they're gonna have cameras, like they always settle before. So this is kind of the first one that I have been following for years that I'm watching, and it's pretty boring so far, but maybe it'll heat up. I'm gonna definitely keep giving it a try. Maybe tomorrow we'll do live tweets during it too. Nicole said this day and age technology should be better. I agree. Right, exactly. Tag said at this point it'd probably be cheaper and definitely more fair to take a lift from LA and get there quicker. Thank you, AMS. Witnesses for criminal trials should have to be present in the courtroom. I agree. I actually think this is not an obscene proposition. I don't like this. Like, why are the detectives the ones that get to zoom in? Why didn't Ingrid get to zoom in? I mean, it's just the detectives in LAPD, he didn't have to come in, but Ingrid, who also said she was from or lived in LA or was from LA at least, she didn't get to zoom in. I think if it's a murder trial. I mean, any criminal trial, yeah, for sure, actually. But geez, can we at least? This is crazy. I don't think any more Zoom witnesses should be allowed. It makes it just seem like it's like unprofessional and so unserious. It makes it seem so unserious. It is not COVID times. That was years ago. Okay, like get your ass on a plane if you're going to testify against someone in a murder trial. Actually, the more I think about it, the more it's aggravating. It's ridiculous that they can't make a trip from LA. The LA entitlement is insane. I don't know if it's LA entitlement or just law enforcement prosecutor entitlement. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's always a flip side of like this, the taxpayer has to pay for all that. Like every plane ticket one way, every plane ticket another way, all that stuff that the taxpayer has to pay for. If you're going to subpoena somebody from out of state, clearly both those last witnesses are retired. They could have shown up unless it's health reasons. Yeah, again, it's like you are testifying against someone in a life or death murder trial. Lose your freedom for the rest of your life murder trial. Like you can't at least get the internet working. I'm sure, everybody has their sides of stories, but my God, this so far has been, The Biggie case has come up a few times here. First witness was somebody, Dale, former Vegas patrol. He was the bike cop. The night of the murder, he actually pulled TUPAC over 10 minutes before the fatal shooting occurred. Reason he pulled him over, Suge Knight was driving the car. They didn't have a license plate on their car. Now, what they told the police is they were filming a music video. And they were filming this music video, so they took the license plate off the car and they were going up and down the strip. And I guess the cop believed it or whatever, and he let him go. 10 minutes later, there was a shooting. So he'd been working by that point 13 years as a cop. He saw the license plate missing. He stopped. Didn't write any tickets, didn't write any reports, allowed him to just continue on. Did not write a report. Now, there were vehicles. Question was, were there vehicles behind the BMW when you pulled it over? Were there vehicles following along behind? And the guy, the former bike cop was like, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. There was the average night of traffic, but yeah, I mean, there was traffic. But not any more than ordinary. It's ordinarily there was traffic and there was the same amount of traffic this night. He doesn't remember who the primary officer was that night. There were shots fired and everybody kind of showed up. So he doesn't really remember who was there first as far as was he the primary first responding officer, etc. And he said, yeah, on that second part where there was like actually a shooting or whatever, like the 10 minutes later, he showed up to that too. And when he got there to that shooting, he was like, yeah, this is the same people I just pulled over. And he said, And he said, at that point after the shooting, yes, there were several vehicles lined up and kind of stuck in traffic. So he said I couldn't really tell who was there as an entourage member or who was who. It could have just been people stuck, people like rubbernecking. Like I really don't know. So then he goes away. We get our second witness of the day, Ingrid Stokes. Johnson was her name at the time. She was in Vegas that night with her best friend and her other friends from LA. They went for the weekend. They had off work. Then that's when Keefe D burped really loud, and it was gross. Now, she and her friends had planned on going to the fight that night, the Mike Tyson fight. But they took too long to get dressed and they missed it. But they did make it to the so-called let out. I love that she called it that. That's my new word. We made it to the let out. She's like, yeah, we made it to the let out. So they made it to the let out of the fight and they wanted to go see what everybody was doing for the after, the fight thing. They ran into some of their friends. They said hello. They had some drinks. They went in a convertible Sebring. They left the parking lot, went to the main street. She kept calling it Vegas Boulevard. They drove maybe 10 or 15 minutes. After leaving the parking lot, they ran into Suge and TUPAC in the car. Now, Ingrid's friend Lauren somehow knew Suge Knight. So she's like, hey, pull up to the side of Suge Knight and TUPAC. And so they do, and they see him, and they're like, hey, what are y'all doing? Now, Ingrid was actually in the passenger seat in the front, and Shalane was driving the car, and we had Tanisha as well behind Ingrid in the rear passenger seat. So they pull up next to Suge and TUPAC, and they're like, hey, what y'all doing? And they were like, the guys were like, we're going to the club. And they were like, okay, cool. We want to come to the club too. Okay, yeah, we're coming to the club too. Okay, cool. Okay, TUPAC and Suge Knight are like, hey, follow us to the club. And they're like, okay. Well, as these ladies are trying to follow Suge Knight and TUPAC to the club, they keep getting cut off by like a car or some cars or whatever. And they're like, this is dangerous and this is stressful. So let's not try to follow along behind them anymore. Let's just like go to the club. I mean, we know where it is. We'll get there when we get there. I'm not trying to get in a wreck. So they pull up to this light and it's a red light. So the red light is underway and the driver of the car, Shalane, she's like, I need to stop with this driving. I cannot with the driving. I gotta get, I can't. So, Ingrid, the witness today, she's like, bet, no problem. Let's just switch seats. Hurry up real quick. We're at the light. Let's move it. They do. In the process of doing the switcheroo, okay. And everyone's, and so she's like, I didn't see anything. I was trying to switch. So she's like, soon as that light turns green, we go. But at the time, she was like a little behind. In front.
Just with regards to this witness's testimony earlier,
What the hell? You just interrupted this man?
Okay.
okay, I don't think it's going to hurt his feelings. The information that was garnered by the state specifically, I think, just falls towards a other bad act issue, and that is the testimony is that he's a suspect in a murder of Biggie Smalls, and there's some implication at this particular point. I know how the story ends. The problem is though is that it still infers a bad act in terms of him being the suspect in this case. So as a result, we just
I have no problem, the court already admitted this by way of our motion in limine. I have no problem with the court instructing the jury that neither the state nor the LAPD believes that Mr. Davis is involved in the murder of Christopher Wallace. I have no problem with that instruction.
Okay.
Did you want a contemporaneous instruction, or do you want that to be included in the jury instruction packet, Mr. Stamped?
I think it should be something of an impression right now, so it can
Okay.
be contemporaneous.
I agree.
So the suggestion.
Okay, I'll pause it because I'm sure we're gonna have some dead air coming up very soon. I'm sure we'll catch up soon. So the lawyer's like, look, I don't know about that earlier testimony. The guy kind of introduced like knowing who Keefe D, my client Keefe D, was because he was possibly under investigation for the murder already of Biggie. And I just want to object to that because that kind of like goes to prior bad acts, which my client was never tried for that, even charged with that. So like, he's like, can you at least just tell the jury like he's not under investigation for that? And the prosecutor's like, yeah, I mean, actually, that's fine. Like, we're not trying to say he was under investigation for that. That's fine.
And was either the
So
court
they're going to get a jury instruction here.
or LAPD believe
Believe at this point.
at this point that Mr. Davis was involved in any way in the death of Mr. Wallace?
Sure.
Does that work?
Okay, the prosecutor's being reasonable. I think that's fine. I think that's fair. Okay, here comes the jury back in. He looks familiar, journalist.
Parties stipulate the presence of the jury.
Yes, sir.
Believe as at this point that Mr.
Oh, wait,
Davis.
okay, hold on. We'll listen to the jury instruction.
Before we go back to Mr. Miller's testimony, I did want to admonish you as follows. Neither the court nor the LAPD believe as at this point that Mr. Davis was involved in the death of Mr. Wallace.
At this
Want that to be
point,
clear.
at this
Going back
point,
to you, Mr. DiGiacomo, you may proceed with Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
So you receive information that Dwayne Davis could potentially be your suspect. Is that accurate? I think that's where we left off.
That's correct.
And you also receive information
our boy Fred on his iPad looks stressed.
that potentially Mr. Davis feels like he's owed money by either Mr. Wallace or Puffy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Is
Oh,
that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
what?
You also learn that he was driving.
That's correct.
We go back to Mr. Miller's testimony. That to be clear.
Okay,
Going
hold
back
on.
to you.
What about Puffy?
Davis could potentially be your suspect. Is that accurate? I think. Mr. Miller, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
So you receive information that Dwayne Davis could potentially be your suspect. Is that accurate?
Okay.
I think that's where we left off.
That's correct.
And you also receive information that potentially Mr. Davis feels like he's owed money by either
Keefe.
Mr. Wallace or Puffy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Who, Wallace?
You also learn that he was
Or
by
Davis?
either Mr. Wallace or
David.
Puffy Combs' Bad Boy Records. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
You also learn that he was driving or ticketed on March 8th of 1997, a black 1996 Chevy Impala SS. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so based upon all of that, do you, along with, well, on May 27th of 1997, Compton PD executes a search warrant at 1524 California. And then on the 28th, you get a warrant to search the vehicle, the 1996 Chevy Impala, correct?
What?
Correct.
And the vehicle was actually registered to a Patrick Parker.
Patrick Parker
Is that
enters
correct?
the chat.
That is correct.
Eventually, fast forward to June 20th of 1997, do you and your partner, Detective Poole, wind up having a conversation with Mr. Davis at his lawyer's office, Edie Fall?
That's correct.
Judge, I've had marked as 116 as well as, it's old school, so it's two sides of a tape, 108 and 109, which is transcripts, the audio and the transcripts. I'd offer them at this point.
Any objection?
No objection.
What is the
All right,
audio?
those will be admitted, and further, pursuant to your stipulation, we're going to play those after Mr. Miller's done testifying, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, during the execution of that search warrant that you did, in the trunk of the vehicle, did you collect a Polaroid photograph?
Yes, I did.
And I'm going to share my screen with you.
Let's see what's coming up on the screen.
Can you see that Polaroid?
Yes, I can.
It's really
And is
small.
that the Polaroid that you collected out of the vehicle?
That's correct.
Is this
I
Keefe?
move to admit 66.
Someone's blacked
No
out.
objection.
Whose
So
face
admit?
was scribbled out?
I pass the witness.
Pass the
Okay.
witness. Pass the witness.
Mr. Santos?
Mr.
Mr.
Sam.
Miller, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
This Polaroid that's on screen right now, which is state 66 that you see in front of you,
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Can't hear you very well. You're breaking out just a little bit.
I apologize.
Wah,
So
wah.
this exhibit that you see in front of you right now,
Mm-hmm.
do you see the Polaroid still, which is State's Exhibit 66 for the record?
Fred's iPad.
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what this means?
Yeah, what does this mean?
What it means?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Polaroid. Is there anything about this particular photograph that means anything?
That's a good question. He's funny.
Really don't get your questions right. It just means there's a group of guys together who enjoyed themselves, apparently.
Right. Can you tell us when that photograph was taken?
No,
No, I can't.
Can you tell us where that photograph was taken?
no.
No.
Ooh, this guy's
In
good.
terms of the clothing that everyone's wearing at this particular point, do you know if that was how Mr. Davis dressed normally?
Oh, man.
I have no idea how Mr. Davis dresses normally.
Now, this
So KVD has done interviews lately, and he has said that this picture was from New Year's. The problem for him is, in his book, it says this was the night of that fight. So when is he lying and when is he telling the truth? Because it cannot both be true. This picture has to be from one time and one place.
photograph that was taken from the 96 Chevy Impala, that was pursuant to your search warrant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were looking for evidence that would help you substantiate as to who was responsible for the murder of Biggie Smalls, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us how this
Biggie.
photograph helps you learn any more information as to who killed Biggie Smalls?
It may not be the actual person who pulled the trigger, but it may be one of the people that lead us to who did pull that trigger.
I think it shows like associates, if any of these people could be fault, like not even like to investigate them, but just to ask them questions or whatever. I mean, yeah, if you're investigating somebody for like supposed purported conspiracy or gang activity, I would expect you to follow leads of who they're friends with.
All right.
And remember, this was before cell phones. This was mostly before email. I mean, email had been out for a while, maybe 2-3 years.
Who are the other people that are in the photograph?
I don't recall the names. Orlando Anderson was one, and I don't recall the others.
This is blacked out.
But
Who?
fair to say, of
Why?
course, if there was a Polaroid with these people in there, it would have been part of your job as a detective at the time to look into and identify who those other individuals are, correct?
Yes.
And that didn't happen in this case?
I believe we did find out there was 3 or 4 more.
All right. And once again, did it help you solve the murder of Biggie Smalls?
No.
No.
And fair to say, though, even though we've been talking about Mr. Dwayne Davis as somebody that was a potential target for your investigation, ultimately, at the end of the day, he was never charged with the murder of Biggie Smalls, right?
That's correct.
Now, in addition to that, fair to say that in your
Well, he also didn't write any books about being involved in that one yet.
course and scope as a detective, when you do your investigations, you would have ran Mr. Davis's criminal history as part of your investigation, right?
Yes, sir.
Was there any indication on any of his criminal history that arrested or charged or convicted of any violent felony?
I don't recall.
Now, in addition to that, sir, your testimony here is that you did an investigation on Mr. Davis. Did you ever at any point look into the actual Impala itself? You said it was owned by somebody else, so Patrick Parker. Is that correct?
It was owned by someone other than Mr. Davis, yes.
And with regard to that, did you ever interview Mr. Parker?
I do not recall.
And when you went to 1524, what was the purpose of going to that particular address?
I'm sorry, what?
You said you went to 1524 California. I apologize. That was my bad. But you went to 1524 California. Why to that address?
Because that's where we heard that Mr. Davis lived and that we'd had air units go by and check the location, and they observed the black Chevy Impala parked in the back. That's why.
Did you ever search the 1524 California residence in furtherance of your investigation?
I didn't. It was searched by the Compton Police Department.
Okay.
They were
In their
corrupt.
search of the 1524 California residence, fair to say that there was no evidence that was located that would have been helpful for your investigation?
Not at this point. That's correct.
Okay. What about the anything to do with a potential issue with Tupac Shakur's murder? Any evidence found at the 1524 California residence?
I'm not sure. That was not my case.
He's like, I don't know. I do not know. Look at her back there behind.
Now, at some point, your testimony is that there was a meeting between yourself, Mr. Davis, as well as Edie Fall, his attorney.
Yes, sir.
And in that meeting, it was recorded?
Yes.
And was that recorded surreptitiously, meaning it was done without their knowledge, or was it done with their knowledge?
I don't recall whether they were informed or not.
Oh, whoa. Well then.
And just for our edification, where was the location of that meeting and recording?
Wow. I don't recall. I want to say it was at Parker Center, but I don't actually remember.
It was 30 years ago. or
Is that
something.
where, would that have been LAPD headquarters, or are you talking about some other location?
That would be 150 North Los Angeles Street.
I don't know where that's at. Is that a?
It no longer exists. It was the old Parker Center, yes.
Okay.
The old police administration building.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
Any redirect, Mr. DeJoe?
Nice.
No,
Oh,
Any questions for this
thank
witness
God. Can we
by
get someone in
judges?
person? My God.
We do have at least one, so hang on with us, Mr.
Oh, the
Miller,
jurors
and
got
we'll
a
go through the
question.
question process.
This is interesting when they have a question. The defense seems nervous, you think? I didn't get
Okay, the
that.
parties approach.
All right, what's the question? What's the question? What's the question? They cut the mic.
All right, Mr. Okay, Mr. Miller, can you still hear me?
I'm sorry, what, Your Honor?
Okay, excellent. A question from one of our jurors. If the car was owned by someone else, why weren't they questioned?
I don't understand. I mean, I'm not hearing you correctly, Your Honor.
If the car was owned by someone else, why were they not questioned?
More likely he was, like I said, I do not recall whether he was interviewed or not. He was not by me that I remember.
Okay, any follow-up, Mr. DiGiacomo?
no.
Any follow-up, Mr. Sanders?
Interesting
I do
question.
have one further question, Your Honor.
About that? Or about something else?
Sure.
Any objection to him reopening questioning?
No.
Okay, Mr. Samp, you may proceed with a different question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He's gonna
I
ask about
apologize.
this.
Thank you to the state as well. Sir, you had told us earlier that there was some indication that you believed that either Biggie or Sean Puffy Combs had owed my client money. You recall that line of questioning?
I remember that question, yes.
Was there any evidence that he actually was owed money by either one of those two individuals?
Not that I'm aware of.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions based on that state? All right, any questions based on that by the jurors? Seeing nothing at this time, Mr. Miller, you are excused. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think this is our last witness for the day. Is that correct, State?
Yes, although we can play that 1997 recording,
Okay.
as part of it.
I think we do have time. You said it was about 40 minutes?
I think part A is 40 minutes, and then there's a little bit that we may have to finish in the morning.
Girl,
but
I don't know if we
Sounds
stay in
like
for
let's get started.
40 more
we
minutes
gotta
of
switch
recording.
over to the.
Let's see. If we can hear it good, I will. But if it's like how it's been, I'm not. Morning Masterpiece said he is not looking too good over there. No, no, I'm definitely not. We're not doing this. Nope. Okay, well, all right. So I think I already said, what I wanted to say about the different little recaps. Oh, let me finish the story of the ladies because I'll probably cut that together and make it into a highlights. Hold on. Okay, so Suge Knight's driving, Tupac's in the passenger seat. They're switching. There's gunshots ring out, and Suge was driving, Tupac passenger seat, and she was like, we got behind them to follow, but it was kind of weird because we kept getting cut off by this other car. We went to turn, they kept getting cut off. They pulled around them, stopped the light. So they're like, we're just going to get to the club on our own. We're going to stop trying to follow them. It's just too much. So they actually, the girl's car pulled out in front of the guy's car, and they went over a lane or two, and they were just like, we're going on our own. We're not getting involved in all that. But we'll meet them when we get there. And so they start switching seats. The two girls in the front seat, they're switching seats, and it's because the witness from today, she's like, I'll drive. I'll drive, whatever, no problem. I'll drive. You don't have to worry about it. The girl that was driving at first, Shalane, she was like, I cannot. It's too much. So she's like, so we went back. We heard the shots. We drove away fast, but then we came back. We wanted to see what was going on. And she said, we told the police officers that we had been there and we had at least been nearby. She said, again, I told them that I didn't see anything because I was looking down. We were switching seats. But the cops were like, no, y'all are eyewitnesses. And they handcuff him and they're like, or maybe not handcuff him, but they were like, they put him down on the curb. And she was like, I had designer clothes on and I was aggravated that they were making me sit on this curb. And she was like, people were driving by and seeing us too. Like we could have gotten, snitches get ditches or whatever. That's what she said. That was her quote. So there were other girls there that night who are now obviously women, grown women, ladies. They did not want to testify. And it was because even 30 years later, there is fear about talking about this. And that's when she did the snitches get stitches thing. And she's like, talking to the cops also just is not something that we did in the culture in LA, especially in the 80s and 90s. And she's like, but I was like, I can go talk to them. I'm good because I actually didn't see anything. She was concerned about people seeing her talking to the cops because of the whole snitch, don't snitch culture. So then she goes back to LA. She said she did not stay on top of the case and she did not talk about this case to anybody for decades. And she said, I did not write anything down at the time in journals. I did do documentaries a little bit later with, my friend who was driving the car to refresh our recollection. She said the weather that night wasn't anything remarkable. It wasn't raining. It wasn't too cold. Was Tupac hanging out of the window hollering? She said, no, that wasn't from us. No, I didn't see that. And nobody was hollering Tupac at him either. There was a juror question. One of the two questions that the jury asked today. Now, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. I never saw the jurors asking a question, but this is super cool. I think this is awesome. This is really cool. Maybe they do it all the time. I mean, I don't watch trials like this usually. But the jurors asked, could you gauge what direction the bullets were coming from? She said no, it was literally all just too chaotic. I could not. Okay, so then we get the fourth witness. This was the Echo from hell. He was a homicide detective. Now, they did ask him, why was a homicide detective assigned to this case when there was not even a dead person yet? So homicide means someone died. And remember, Tupac lived for 6 days after he got shot. So this homicide detective was put onto the case a day after the shooting, even though Tupac wasn't dead yet and he wouldn't die for another 5 days. And that didn't actually strike me as that weird after I really thought about it, because in LA, they do that too. Even if they don't know for sure it's a homicide, if someone got shot at, that's the detectives that are used to working with ballistics. That's the detectives that are used to being able to track down certain types of witnesses, etc. So even if someone didn't actually die yet, I could see how that would be the department that would be most equipped to handle it. Second of all, Most of the time in these big cities, the homicide and the gang departments are either directly connected or very closely working together. LAPD is a good example of this. You have the robbery homicide division. So the gang violence task force or whatever was under the robbery homicide division in LA. So it didn't really strike me as that weird when I really thought about it. But the way it was asked in court today, you would kind of think it was weird. Like, well, he hadn't died yet. Why were there homicide detectives? Well, I mean, homicide detectives are used to blood splatter evidence. They're used to dealing with that certain type of forensic evidence that even if Tupac didn't die, there's that, which he did tragically. But even if he didn't, I could still see the homicide detectives being in the best position to try to, I mean, if it's attempted homicide at the very least, they're going to need to still do that same type of forensics no matter what. What else? Possible defenses is, yeah, did you ever see Keefe D in the video in Vegas? And they said no. So I think they're going to say Keefe D was not in Vegas. They're also going to try to say Suge Knight did it, which is going to be difficult for me to follow because that would mean Suge Knight would have had a shot himself in the same car with Tupac and somehow get the bullet holes to go through the door from the... we'll see. We'll see. Now, we also found out today that MC Hammer was possibly potentially in a Hummer nearby, but that was just barely mentioned in passing. Now, we got the fifth witness, Fred Miller. He was the one where they stopped in the very beginning or whatever because he was just like, you couldn't hear him. And then there was this jury instruction about the Biggie murder that came up quite a few times today, the Biggie investigation. The Notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace investigation was really what brought Keefe D into this Tupac realm in the first place. And that was when he, after the initial time, right? But like back around in 2008, he does this interview, this proffer agreement in 2008 to talk about, to talk to this guy investigating Biggie's murder, which in 2008 would have been about more than 12. It would have been 12 years later. So this guy, he's looking into it, Greg Kading, and then he interviews Keefe D. Now, as a part of the interview, he says, I'll give you immunity, for this. You can't be prosecuted for anything you say here. Okay, bet. Okay, cool. So Keefe D does do the interview, the proffer, whatever. And then the next year, he does another interview with like another cop somewhere else, 2009. Then, of course, as you know, he does a documentary in 2017. He does his own book with a co-author in 2019. 2022, he's doing something else. I think it's podcast, this, that, and the other. And he's been on all kind of podcasts, got all kind of millions of views. And every time he does one of these appearances or one of these statements, he's admitting to having something to do with the Tupac murder. It's like, oh, the only living witness tells the tale. It's like, okay, guy. Okay, anyway, okay. So this man is freezing. His camera was freezing. Yeah, it was too much. Either Biggie or Diddy. So there was a question that came up today about Keefe D holding a grudge of some sort against Diddy and his Bad Boy Records artist, Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious B.I.G. And it's come up a couple times here today that apparently there's this rumor that Keefe D thought that Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs and or his artist, Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., owed Keefe D money. But then the lawyer comes up and he's like, this defense lawyer, Keefe D's lawyer, and he's like, let me just ask you, was there actually any evidence? Was there actually any evidence that Sean P. Diddy Puff Daddy Combs or Christopher Wallace owed my client money? And the detective said no. So that's pretty much all we had for today. And I'm getting off here. I think I've been live for like 9 hours or something. So I got to go. Thanks for those that stuck around. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.